Void.
Welcome to Dynaground! Hello, my name is Owen and I'm your professional Dyna rider. Today I'll be teaching you how to ride a dinosaur and win that chicken dinner. Now, let's begin! Relax, don't be scared. That's the sound of the mighty T-Rex. Now, here's the first dinosaur encounter. I want you to meet my girl Vicky, my sweet little raptor. Look how cute she is.
Isn't she lovely?
Vicky or raptors, they're the most vicious and fastest beasts in the world. To ride a dinosaur, first you must build trust. They are carnivores. They eat meat. You have to feed them off. They will think that you are their friend, not food. Once they trust you, they will be a great companion. However, taming a dinosaur can be seen. Experience dinosaur taming and riding the all-new version of PUBG Mobile Dynaground. Explore Dyna Settlement and Wild Reserve and embark on a prehistoric adventure in the Battle Royale game. Come and play now. Welcome to Dynaground! Hello, my name is Owen and I'm your professional Dyna rider. Today I'll be teaching you how to ride a dinosaur and win that chicken dinner. Now, let's begin! Relax, don't be scared. That's the sound of the mighty T-Rex. Now, here's the first dinosaur encounter. I want you to meet my girl Vicky, my sweet little raptor. Look how cute she is.
Isn't she lovely?
Vicky or raptors, they're the most vicious and fastest beasts in the world. To ride a dinosaur, first you must build trust. They are carnivores. They eat meat. You have to feed them off. They will think that you are their friend, not food. Once they trust you, they will be a great companion. However, taming
Welcome back to Ruthless Europe Invitational. Once again, we are back at the phase number one. It's day number two. My name is Rita. Along with me, it's my amazing co-caster Apkon. And today we are going to witness, as I said, phase number one's day number two. I'm actually quite excited to see how the teams are going to perform today, guys. Remember, 5 more matches to go, and eventually after that, just 5 more matches are going to remain for the last day, the judgment day of the phase number two, phase number one to be precise. I would love to see how teams are going to enact in that, but I really believe that today's day is going to be full of comeback and I guess beautiful story of aggression and also quite a few strategic plays, I believe.
Definitely. I think after day one, the domination and the way teams work so closely competitive up against each
Yeah.
other, this day two defines a lot and lot of things, especially the ones who are at the top. Love to see how they're going to remain. But before we talk about the points, let's take a look after the point system out of how the teams are going to be, getting the chance to earn the points. The team at the number one place, winning the winner chicken dinner, will walk away with 10 points. At the second position, only 6. Then we have third as 5th. Fourth place brings you 4 points, 5 brings you 3, and at the 6th spot you get 2 points. But from 7 to 8th, only 1 point each. And if you're in the ninth and bottom place, so that doesn't give you any placement point. But hey, there's always a single point for each and every kill you get. Talking about the tournament info, it's going to be divided into 2 phases. The first phase between 1st to 3rd June with a massive prize pool of $1,000, and the second going up with 5th to 7th June.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Mark your calendars, guys. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd June are going to be the days where we are going to witness phase one, where I believe already one day has been passed, and today it's 2nd June. So definitely we are going to watch the second day of the phase number one, and after that, if we talk about phase two, with a quick break of just one day, I believe at 5th June the phase number two is going to get initiated, and at 7th we'll get to see the result. Who are the top 3 teams and who is the MVP as well. So definitely, guys, remember the prize pool chunk is massive, as Upton said, it's of $1,000. But let's talk about the overall MVP for now, and that is from MELISE Esports CEO RTR. This guy was able to get 10 eliminations, and eventually, if we talk about damage, that is of 2,158, and eventually, if we talk about throwables use, that is 30 with 0 assists in his favor. Remember, the MVP is calculated on the basis of 40% damage, 40% survival time, and 20% the eliminations. So definitely in that meta, I believe this guy was absolutely on point. No doubt, overall fraggers are somebody else, and we'll get to see all the regions. But let's talk about the overall ranking. In 5 matches, if a team is able to score around 50 points, I believe that's kind of a decent play coming in, and that is why FLUX Esports, after securing 2 good chicken dinners with the balance of 27 points each in their favor in terms of placement and elimination points, have secured 54 points, which is huge. ARR Esports on the hindsight with just 1 chicken dinner, but still lurking pretty close to FLUX Esports, I would love to say. Like, there is a buffer of just 3 points, which can be compensated pretty soon after the first match gets over. They have 51 points. SBG, the one which actually started the game with their domination with 20 points, I believe, are now at the 3rd position with 44 points. MELISE Esports on the other corner, trying to be consistent. They are with 43 points, I believe. Excuse me, on the other corner with 26. OZAROX Esports 22 as well. Same goes for Bra and BESIKTAS Esports. NEXUS Gaming, Major Pride, Gaming Gladiators, and Slyro. These are the few teams which are still struggling to find their own firm grasp in the lobby, but I really believe this could be the day where they can perform.
Exactly, and I think Team Excuse Me came up with a good last map performances. 19 elimination for this one team. Team Nexus Gaming at the same time, their placement point looks pretty tremendous. But talking about today, we're going to kick things off with the home map of Erangel, and after that it's going to be switched around between Miramar, then again Erangel, Miramar and Erangel. So 3 Erangel actions, 2 Miramar for today, and I think this is going to concede the 2/3 of the entire day and the week which we were talking about. This action is going to be between 1 to 3rd June, and out of already the day number 1 is over. Now the second day is going to be one of those days where you actually have to get the most point possible after the losses in day 1, after the gains in day 1. It all comes on as to how day number 2 is going to go on. But with that, we are going to hop into our prediction, and let's see what's going to be prediction coming in from your side, Raider. Because yesterday I don't think that we won in any of our predictions, so that's why we have a 0 count. Chad has one after choosing FLUX. So what are your predictions in before we hop inside the map of Erangel?
Yes, FLUX Esports is a good team, no doubt in that. They have secured two good chicken dinners, but I would love to go for MELISE Esports. They are trying to get a chicken dinner. Eventually, their survival rate is also quite good. If you see in the first few matches, eventually, even the last surviving player was able to survive till the top three, top five. So I really believe they have got that idea. They've got that, I guess, hunger for getting the chicken dinner. And there are quite a few teams which are also trying to come up with some good points. But then the thing is, those teams are also hunting players. Those teams are also trying to go aggressive. So that aggression is not letting them get the chicken dinner. But I really believe for me, Melis Esports is the one which would actually get the match number 6 chicken dinner. Go ahead in the chat and make sure to pick your teams as well. But Akon, what's your prediction?
I think I'd definitely go with none other than Team ARR Esports. Team
Oh,
ARR Esports have been someone who have been really, like constant. I would have loved to go with SBG, but the drop clash with they've been getting, alongside I think BESIKTAS is unfortunate. Each and every time, like yesterday when we saw Asiana, it was like every other time Team SBG won. But this is the thing about Erangel, right? Like it doesn't ensures you that you are gonna go inside a drop clash, you're gonna win the fight, and you're gonna get
exactly.
all the four players safe out of that, like war. So that's something which is gonna be difficult. So ARR Esports, that is that one team which I'm really counting on. What are your predictions in the chat? Don't let us know. Before we hop inside Erangel, this is gonna be the fourth time we'll be seeing Erangel. When the first time we saw, I think it was none other than Team SBG. Then we have Team ARR. Then the last day it was none other than Foot Esports who ended things apart. Only one team has been winning, like constantly two winner chicken dinner. It was Team FLUX. That was in the map of Miramar. Like they have 100%, like a win ratio when you talk about that. So I'm going to be really excited to see that how eventually the day pans out for all of these teams. There are many teams out there, like, if you talk about next RUYA, if you talk about the side of REGNUM, CARYA, who tend to look pretty good when it comes to these mid fights. Whenever like the game is like not in the end circles, it's in those rotation phases. But like in these rotation phases itself, zone plays a very key role, and teams like REGNUM, CARYA, teams like Major Pride, they just tend to lose out those fight before even getting inside the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen a lot of teams getting diminished eventually due to the rotations, due to the hard shifts coming into the play zone. So I really believe today is going to be that day where teams are going to be a bit more calculative about that. Rotations are going to be a bit more early when it comes to the map of Miramar. And eventually, if you talk about Erangel, yes, you can hold on to the central POIs and eventually fight back with it. You can create a fortress around you, but obviously it is going to make you at the center of attraction. Same can be said for the map of Miramar because obviously surviving at the edge is going to be a better call out because you can gatekeep the teams. You can also survive from getting gatekeep yourself. And yeah, I mean, a lot of plays have been delivered from the map of Miramar. Eventually, if we talk about FLUX, that is one strong team which have back to back secured the Miramar map. So I really believe today is going to be the same day where FLUX is going to nail out the match number 8 and match number, I guess, match number 7 as well, because those are the two matches, 7 and 9, I believe. These are the two matches where Miramar is going to summon. So definitely have to see if the FLUX Esports has that today as well, or some of the team is going to dethrone them. I really believe there is going to be a lot of changes coming up in the Miramar as well, because right now after playing 5 matches, teams have got an idea how the other team is performing. Can we actually take the drop shifts and like that? Because 5 matches have been passed, so there is a difference. There is a buffer that has been created. I would love to see some other teams which are not being able to perform or not being able to get a lot of points in the leaderboard. Those teams getting the chicken dinners and changing the whole leaderboard will be amazing. Yes, I believe the teams which are on top are trying their level best to just be on top. The team which are on the mid, they're trying to just jump up a little bit so that they can actually have a favorable position today and then start off quite good tomorrow. Because yes, tomorrow is the final day. Tomorrow is the day where we'll get to see the top 3 teams and also the most valuable player.
Exactly, but with that, I think we'd be waiting to see what the updates are for the first game, as we are going to be really excited. Like I think there might be some re-host coming in because we were almost ready to dive inside the game, but that's all fine. I think these tech issues tend to happen in the very start. The earlier the better, so that the teams definitely get to realize that once they are in the game, they are surely in for the big round. They are surely in for the big day, and I think today it's going to be a day where it's going to be back-to-back 5 games to be played. Erangel, Miramar, and then again we end things up at the map of Erangel. So teams know for a fact that this is going to be a pretty important day. Losing any one of these 5 maps could result in a very difficult scenario.
Definitely. If the buffer is there, the mental pressure is going to be there, and some other team is going to actually capsize on it. So I would love to see how teams are going to perform today. Yes, we do have a lot of speculation at this point. We have our own favorite teams, we have our own favorite metas, but eventually these are the guys which are going to break a lot of meta. I have missed one thing, and that is the southern play zones, both in the map of Miramar and also in Wrangle. If that actually comes in, it will be amazing. I would love to see us also community based play zone, and eventually if we talk about Los Unos play zones, if that also comes in, it will be amazing. But yes, we have got the calls from the back end that our first match for the phase number one, day number two, is already about to get started. That means the match number six in the map of Wrangle is about to get someone pretty soon. We'll get to see the flight path, and in I believe 25 seconds, 30 seconds. Oh yeah, we are directly jumping into the flight path, and it is starting from the 70 shooting range region. That is the northern territory of this particular map, and we are jumping towards the area of Novoripne, I believe. So it's a decent flight path, no doubt in that. A lot of teams are going to jump in. I believe clashes can be avoided, but still there are going to be quite a few teams which will actually enact in a clash so that they can have the advantage of shutting down the other team. But remember, guys, it will not be easy. 16 teams, 64 players, and one end of a competition. That's what we are in for.
Well, with that, I think the game has started, and so is the plane path, which now moves all the way up towards the side of, the positions where you could expect the northern going down towards the southern position. I think the drop clashes still yet can be seen all the way towards the side of Yasiana. And SBG is already going there. I think alongside them, I think even it was at the side of none other than Farnell Pride. I think Major Pride was the one of the teams really, struggling out there to contest and, save up themselves in the clash where they had George Pool against them and FLUX. Alongside them, I think even Pochinki has been one of those grounds where you could expect some drop clashes. But talk about drop clashes, that's already here. It's going to be REGNUM CARYA going up against the side of none other than, I think, Major Pride and Team Major Pride. Already they got the first early success. An unfortunate position does comes in from the side of REGNUM CARYA as they are down to the numbers disadvantage. But let's see if how teams are going to continue. Alongside that, we also have the side of Team FLUX up in a 4 versus 4 fight in the six houses.
Oh, it's interesting. Georgie Pool, Southwest City. Once again, we do have a lot of fights coming in, and I really believe that Excuse Me could be one of those teams which can have the upper hand. But eventually, FLUX Esports. Remember, they are the Miramar Giants. Or is it going to be a similar situation for them in this particular map where things can be a little bit more on the versatile side? But look at Victor. He's again popping out with the pistols, and he's getting the players. That's absolutely impressive as well. Getting the knockouts is absolutely a good thing, but I believe that's a Yasna Polana struggle that is going on. Oh, not with the Yasna Polana. They have been caught in an open area. Victor finds two. That is a huge blow to the morale of a team known as BESIKTAS Esports, because getting finished off with two good players in that early fight is obviously going to demean a lot of stuff for them, because now the synergy is not going to work out. They don't have that many angles. They won't be able to cut up rotations and eventually surprise the enemy, but they are getting surprised. That's the best part. SBG once again tries to push forward, and they have an idea that there is a player up front. So is it going to be easy? I really believe that. But taking him the fight is not going to be that easy. But eventually, with the DBS in the mid range and now in the close range, the shots are going in. The connection could be there, but Micro Uzi finds its home, and a beautiful pick coming in. Oh man, I really think that this was not the loss I was seeking for.
Surely, and with that, I think now slowly, steadily, things are surely going to say they have 4 more games to make sure that they recover. But somewhere down the line, if you talk about the start of BESIKTAS Esports, they're right next to the start of Team SBG. The fight for Yasiana wouldn't have been better. Both of these teams, being outside the entire circle. I didn't expect it that this could have been one of those Yasiana fight, but the Micro Uzi does so much damage. Oh, he's surviving in a pixel HP that's not even visible. And I think the nade does the job for the side of REGNUM CARYA. Meanwhile, the chase comes through, and it's team none other than BESIKTAS Esports who will come up on top. Some fist fights to start some interesting day off, and SBG, they're going to be so annoyed after that. 2 eliminations onto the side of Team SBG, and they are now down to only 2 players. But hey, what's in for the side of Major Pride is something to watch out for. REGNUM CARYA will get eliminated at the first team, and the fight near the schoolhouses still stays on. Yesterday, I believe it was the side of Team REGNUM CARYA who had an advantage. In the last match, definitely Team Major Pride had a good fight, but this time it's going to be Major Pride who will be coming up on top. And what a way to see these drop clashes, not just in 1, not just in 2, but in 3 different places in a wrangle.
Well, yeah, the Southwest City, the school areas, and eventually, if we talk about, yes, BESIKTAS Esports down in the Yasna Apple region west. Definitely, I guess, aggressive fights are coming in. But what is happening to FLUX Esports? A beautiful flank is coming in. That could actually upset the team known as, excuse me, but there is already a beautiful need knockout coming in. And with that huge knockout, things are not looking good for FLUX Esports because they do have an opening right now. And I really believe, excuse me, is one of those teams which are trained to perform in this particular region. No offense to the other team, but FLUX Esports' Kesha has been taken down. The last 3 places trying to survive. They're trying to get the advantage out of it. I've got the S1987, which is again a very good pump action shotgun, but obviously getting the pick is not going to be that easy. Ooh, a beautiful connection coming to the play. Once again, the player gets taken down. FLUX Esports is down to just 2 players, and they are obviously going to be a bit far away because you can clearly see the Soulless is actually on the edge. His position has been revealed due to his footsteps, and he can easily be shut down with the DBS pick coming into the play. And on the back end, there is another guy which is also trying to come up with some flanking position so that he can provide the cover to Soulless, and Soulless is trying to back up. So that's good, but is it going to be a similar situation just like BESIKTAS Esports that they are going to do a 2v4 type of situation? Oh, another knockout. That was huge. A big headshot coming to the play. Soulless gets taken down, and yeah, again, S197. That's a beautiful shotgun indeed, but eventually the connection won't be that easy, and that's it. One more squad down to dust. We are left with 14 teams and 51 players. It is FLUX Esports who have been eliminated. So yeah, today's Miramar journey won't be that comfortable, I believe.
Surely, I think with this chart, there's so many, like I'll say eventually positions where you could really consider yourself to be at. Stalber is empty, I think. Alongside Stalber, there are many other places. If you talk about Kameshki, Severny also, I didn't see any team going. One team which is like really lucky, it's none other than, team OZAROX Esports. Now, OZAROX Esports, they have the entire Sosnovka Island. They have the entire Noya, and I mean, with these, it really brings up a big advantage. But at the same time, is it something which is going to be enough? Is the big question. Because at times when you are going in for the similar drop position, it's not just that major time of your loot, major time of your loot phase gets totally denied, but also at the same time, I believe teams have to get enough loot to make sure that the rest of the game which they be playing, the 20 minutes after their loot phase, they are having those ammunitions, they have those loadouts and also those med kits, which really brings up them to an advantage where they could really afford to go for fights and take more and more. Have like what we saw yesterday between the side of Major Pride and Regnum was they had themselves between the side of Scroll and Pochinki compounds for at least 10 minutes, due to which they didn't had enough loot. One of the team did made it out, but not for too long. But now team MELISE Esports will gonna find themselves in right next towards the start for Esports. For Esports, they get the first breakthrough. Posa RTR gets taken down, but at the same time, Slay Europe is just right behind them. Let's see how they are going to manage to keep themselves safe and stay from getting third party.
Yep, I would love to see a third party coming in for sure, but eventually remember guys, this is just the first play zone and we do have a lot of fights coming in. MELISE Esports is again getting pressurized from multiple corners. There could be a backup like situation, there could be a trade fire coming in, but it wouldn't be that easy for FUT Esports. Yes, definitely that tag of war was absolutely amazing. Once again, CURTR is going to get connected. That was a huge body shot that was connected, but still a little bit late, I believe. Paris was able to get one out of it, and that advantage that now FUT Esports is having is going to be good. But CEO, Lewis, and Kisyu, these are the 3 players which are once again stopped here, which actually might rotate to the build-up power region, but let's see how they're going to perform at this point, because yes, after losing one good player, definitely MELISE Esports have to re-strategize once again, have to figure out how they're going to perform in the later stages of the game, because yes, still the biggest part of this game, or should I say the most tough, the most demanding part of this particular game is yet to come, and that is the last play zones, last circles to be precise. If MELISE Esports is going to survive till that, I would love to see a beautiful chicken dinner, as this was my pick. And eventually, remember, the zone is closing in. So the next play zone, that is going to be the second play zone, is going to be quite interesting. Is it going to push down to more eastern flanks or eventually come to the shelter region? That's what I'm actually expecting. Oh, that's interesting. A central southern shift coming to the play zone. It could actually go for Milta or Farm in the later stages as the zone progresses, but MADBULLS, look at them. They are already having the control of shelters, but they are trying to push back a bit. BRIZEPOOL, they have got the dual squad houses that are there pretty close to the Milta region, and they are having the complete control out of it. But I really believe in the later stages they won't be able to have it. And look at the number of vehicles that are roaming here and there. Gaming Gladiators, they are rotating from the Rozhok region, from the school region. BESIKTAS Esports, again rotating from Yasnaya. Same goes for SPG. If we talk about the ARA, they are rotating from the western flanks. So definitely there are multiple teams which are on the move. They are trying to rotate, and this is pretty much, I guess, uncanny when it comes to the map of Triangle, because in Miramar, what you see are the late rotations and also the edgy rotations. But in this particular matchup, you can clearly see there are a lot of compounds, there are a lot of opportunities for those teams which are looking for a stronghold in the map. They're already on the move. They're already trying to take the strong compounds in their favor. But MADBULLS finally gets a beautiful scout house. Although they're going to get multiple times tagged by Fly Europe, I believe. So if that connection comes in, obviously MADBULLS are going to be a little bit more tagged up. On the hindsight, SBG, after getting two amazing finishes, are now out of the critical play zone. Same goes for Excuse Me, who had secured four amazing finishes, if I'm not wrong. And Excuse Me is one of those teams which is lurking down to the second peak. But look at that. After securing just 4 points, they are already back to the 7th position, and this is what happens. But there is a fight. FUT Esports once again is coming up with some good connections, but they are also getting sprayed out. Yes, they are getting tagged up by BESIKTAS, and the only two members which are surviving here from BESIKTAS are getting taken down. Now, the last guy. Nade comes in. This could be huge. Oh, what a shot with the exchange. Definitely is going to put a full stop on Ra's aggression. Or is it enough? Because yes, Gaming Gladiators is also trying to push forward, and that need could actually shut down the players. I would have to see how that need is going to get enacted. Yes, the throwables are coming to the play, but still the revival is done. One good player is back to his feet. Another one is already about to get the revival. Few more mollies coming to the play, but definitely I believe at this point Kitsune does not have an idea where the positioning should be. And one good guy from Gaming Gladiators have also been taken on. But Marty finds one with a beautiful molly. Seems like that FUT is once again going to get connected. The last two players are still surviving. They're trying to be on the edges. They're trying to be on the stairs. But there is a nade coming in. Oh man, that was huge. A beautiful pick once again coming in. FUT was barely surviving, was still doing the job. Is it going to be the end for Gaming Gladiators? That's what I'm actually expecting. But no, finally Gaming Gladiators finds a beautiful DBS pick. And FUT has to say goodbye to the lobby.
Oh man, that was incredible stuff. A team for esports just managed to get 4 eliminations in that entire fight. And that's going to be it. Team FLUX has well been eliminated at the earliest point. So these are going to be the teams who definitely need, a redemption. But talking about Team NR, this is our one team. They love to play with these DBS. And DBS plays out of NR. I think it's next RUYA, who Frozen has been one of the players who has been really, really incredible on that. We haven't seen much of these actions lately, but now the zone closes in. And as we move on towards the 4th zone, this is one of the zone which is mostly towards the team central favor. It moves on towards the Milta side. You don't have much of the seeker, like compounds. Shelter is also yet there, and you also have some compounds of farm at the same time. So teams are going to get so much enough cover to make themselves comfortable in any sort of compound. Yet one thing stays challenging is that how are you going to maintain to escape if the zone doesn't shift towards your favor. This zone isn't going to be a problem. The zone after this would definitely be a big struggle. MELISE Esports were just right in the crosshairs of our thing, like OZAROX Esports. Both the players are trying to go into the root top. The spray is promising, but not good enough to knock himself down. MELISE Esports still struggling a bit. Let's see if they could really manage to retrieve back. Meantime, it's going to be the end for the side of Kash, as it's going to be Sun HP who takes him down, and RUYA Esports will be the one who will be struggling at the 13th spot. 0 points being contributed in this entire game, and they will still be down in the bottom 8 positions.
But I'm actually surprised to see the way BESIKTAS is performing. Despite of the fact that they are struggling with just 2 players, they're still getting the points, they're still hunting down the players. Excuse Me on the other corner gets one beautiful knockout onto their faces, but yes, was able to trade fire, was able to get the 5 finishes in their favor. That's quite good, but another knockout comes in. That is not looking good. Major Spider on the other corner is also putting down the players from NRX, so that's again a very big upset for team, because obviously getting down and reviving machine is not going to be that easy. Yekta comes in, and if some smokes are going to be there, some vehicle push is going to be there, then I believe eventually a revival is possible. That's exactly what they're trying to come up with. Yes, the Samurai coming in, but sprays are also there. Ooh, what will happen? Excuse Me once again gets sacked off. We are left with just a single player, and that player is already on the move. He's trying to fall back a bit. See, that's exactly what I was talking about. There are quite a few teams which are aggressive. There are quite a few teams who knows how to get the frags, but this is not the end game. PUBG is a survival-based gameplay. You have to survive till the end in order to get the chicken dinner. No doubt, in the way, if you are able to secure some n number of finishes, that will be absolutely rewarding as well. But at the same time, if we talk about the current situation for Excuse Me, it's not looking good. Yes, they had 5 amazing finishes. They could have gone long. They could have secured the top 5 positions if they had the chicken dinner. But right now, they're about to get shut down because last man standing is there. And the kind of zone that we are talking about, obviously, is going to be a bit more demanding. He's actually going to rotate a lot. The 4th zone could be coming as a very big hardship. And I really believe at that point, excuse me, is going to have a tough time rotating, have a tough time securing some hard covers in their favor. But Gaming Gladiators on the hindsight is also dominating at this point. Yes, they are left with just two players, but I still believe, like just like BESIKTAS Esports, they can actually outperform a lot of teams. BESIKTAS at the same time are also having a real struggle at this point. But yeah, there is a player on the back end who is easily going to help out the team and get the revival done. Nexus on the other corner finds one. That's a beautiful beauty. BESIKTAS Esports is getting tagged up. Sly Europe again, one of those teams which is stuck at the bottom, is also getting tagged up. And look at the zone. Again, a very big hard shift coming in into the Milta region to be precise. They are, I guess, 2 to 3 teams which are pretty close to the Milta region, but other than that, all the other teams have to rotate from the northwestern flanks, and that rotation can actually cost up a lot. And we can clearly see there is a connection coming in. Oh, that Molly exchange could have been brutal for the player, but yeah, one more DBS pick from the back end. There is a cover. Finally, another spray coming into the play. I believe Sly Europa is trying to give a harsh comeback at this point. Yes, Nexus is trying to fight back. Another DBS comes in, but finally the connection is there. And with that, Nexus finds 3 amazing eliminations. And pretty soon, the whole team known as Sly Europa is already ending out of the equation. The last man standing is trying to push forward. Has got the MP45 in his hand. Is it going to be a vulnerable situation? Yes, it is. Finds the player on the stairs. And just like that, the game is done and dusted for Nexus Gaming. 3 good eliminations. But yeah, the last man standing. So Sly Europa have to buckle up in order to perform in the next few circles. And Major Sprite dominated, and along with that, one more team was out of equation.
Well, it's a domination for the side of Major Pride, but excuse me, meantime, is going to get excused from the entire round of top 10 position. There's yet one more team, which is going to be SBG this time, who gets eliminated at the 11th position. Back-to-back breakthroughs come through, and there's still only few teams who stand strong. It's going to be Team MELISE Esports, Team ARR, and none other than MADBULLS. MADBULLS has an advantage. They have all the 4 players alive. They're not the only one. I think Team Major Pride is also one of the teams, but then again, here comes finally Europa being the only team surviving. Let's see if this one player could do some job. There's a crossfire being set up in the bottom, and that is going to be enough to take down the final player. Slay Europe will have to just adjust in the 9th position, but they have 3 massive eliminations. And thanks to the last guy bringing out a 1 versus 2 clutch onto the side of Nexus Gaming. Well, let's see, Team MADBULLS have been really looking good so far in this game. I think one of the teams with the number of finishes are the team which are far now at the bottom. It's GAIMIN Gladiators alongside Team Major Pride, who have 5-5 elimination. Team ARR with only 3, but that's a team kill. Oh my god, that's going to be so unfortunate. I think next RUYA is going to be the one who just burst out their own vehicle, and due to which the third party comes through. It's GAIMIN Gladiators who capitalizes on that kill, and out of that numbers advantage for the side of Team Next RUYA, they are only down to few players. MELISE also stands strong with only 3. Meanwhile, Next RUYA still holding on to make sure if they could give any revival, but Major Pride, they're just keeping the crosshairs in the right spot. The stag is going to be the center of attention from all the angles. The next circle is going to come in, and the only team who's looking very good in the circle is going to be Team MELISE. MELISE has the center. Right next to them, it's going to be Team Next RUYA and OZAROX Esports as well, just holding things off. But let's see how Team Major Pride are going to work their way in towards the zone, because they don't need to worry about going in the center. As far as they have a good chunk of the corner inside the circle, they might really want to play the one zone and wait for the next zone to become. But meantime, Next RUYA, the second player, also gets eliminated, so that leaves them down only to a 2 versus 4 scenario.
I mean, yeah, the losses are coming in as the zone progresses. Definitely, a lot of teams are getting chased out of the equation. That's quite beautiful. But eventually, MELISE Esports pretty soon are going to get connected with either Gaming Gladiators or some of the teams which are actually in the close circuit. I would have to see how the performance goes on. Ooh, one of the hard shift coming in the play zone. The teams which are comfortable in the Milta region have to push a bit more on the northwestern flank of that particular Milta region. I'm talking about the team which is they're surviving. Another knockout, I believe. So yeah, the knockouts are coming in. This is analysis is getting connected. So I would love to see how the whole situation for Kitsune and his teammates are going to be there, because yes, the needs coming in from NRX as the retaliation are huge. In this particular fight, yes, I believe MELISE can actually have the upper hand. But no doubt, MELISE is trying to fight for a longer game, I believe. And yes, the connections are coming in from MELISE Esports' perspective. This is Kissy, who finds a beautiful guy known as I really believe at this point that Gaming Gladiators is having a very tough time, and same goes for NotRUYA as well, because obviously they are caught in an open space. They won't be able to rotate. There are some certain amount of smokes that they've got, but look at MELISE Esports. A beautiful cover has been established with that a burst out close to POs, which is good enough. They have got the cover, they've got an angle, they are trying to perform. They have already secured 3 amazing emissions, which is good. But still, I believe a longer game has to be expected from the corner. If we talk about gaming gladiators, Kitsune, the last one standing, also wanted to come up with a good flank. Yes, they are still in this particular play zone, which is good enough. I would have to see how other teams are going to perform because yes, ARR is there. Major Sprite is also surviving. The tap shots could go in. Oh, that was a huge one. Kitsune gets taken down. Gaming gladiators unfortunately has been shut down at the 8th position. That means I guess fortunately they've got 1 position points. That's kind of good. But other than that, everything is out of equation. 5 eliminations were there. I was expecting a long battle coming from the corner, but after losing a huge chunk of the manpower, obviously it was not that easy. ARR on the other corner wanted to retaliate, but okay, gets connected with the teammates name. That's interesting. ARR Esports, yes, there is a domination. How far can they stretch this?
Team Yara, they have been really struggling out. I mean, this is the major pride which we had never seen, in the D1, and I mean, this is really being miraculous. But Team Yara just slips away. I said it too early. Maybe they were just trying to slip away. Now it's down to only one final player. Major Pride, meantime, with 3 players, they have to move inside the circle. It's going to be only 20 players remaining. And with that, the entire, cluster being formed up in the bottom left position is going to be in a very unfortunate position. But let's see how things are going to go on. Because so far, so good. Teams are yet going to be in a very struggling state. Let's see how this entirely pans out. Because so far, only 7 teams are surviving in this end circle. The fight for these end circles are yet gonna go on, and slowly, steadily, it's gonna be Team ARR, one solo player surviving, trying to make it in. Well, alongside that, next RUYA is also going to be those 2 players, Frozen alongside Machine, who are just right next to Major Pride. Major Pride, do they realize that this is just going to be a reach of 2 players who are in 2 different angles? Even if they manage to find one, I think Frozen could bring so much value. But if Perfect spots him down, it's going to be a big disadvantage. Let's see how Frozen is going to climb this hill, climb his way up towards the top 5 position, because slowly, steadily, any team who's been eliminated at this spot will at least walk away with some. But Frozen finds the first point of contact, and that is what they needed. I think the buggy might really walk him apart, and yes, it does. Very brutally, Frozen gets taken down. It comes down to one final player. The Machine has to do a 1 versus 2 here. It has to be an amazing one, and with DBS, he's already getting a little annoyed. He's down to only 2 HP, and that's gonna be it. Not a it's a DBS from a distance of 45 meters. And I mean, Team Major Pride looks unstoppable. 11 eliminations already. Well, 15 more to go.
Oh yeah, definitely the team is looking unformidable at this point. The way they are performing is absolutely exceptionally well. But the thing is, they are still on the edge of the particular play zone, and in order to be in the play zone, they are going to confront MELISE Esports and some other teams which are also close to the Milta Power region, Milta region to be precise. So there could be a fight, there could be a beautiful takedown coming into the play. I would love to see how that situation goes on with BESIKTAS after having the control of a mushroom tower. The watch tower is in their favor. They can easily have the first floor of it and also the ground floor, and they can easily get a lot of picks from this particular location. But obviously, they're not trying to create that much buzz around themselves, because obviously if they do that, the center of attraction is going to become this particular team. But ARR Esports, the one last final player that is there, that is going to be Pubg. And this is ironic to see that eventually also in the first map for the day number 1, same thing happened. Pubg was the last man standing, and he was surviving till the end. But right now, the struggle is for real. MELISE Esports is the one which is about to receive a splash coming in from ARR's perspective, and that's exactly what is happening. But MELISE Esports is already trying to rotate a bit further in the particular play area. And yes, in the play zone, MELISE Esports is going to try to have the control. But BESIKTAS Esports again get connected, and this is Major Spide. Oh, what a flank coming from Major Spide's perspective. They've already flanked, trying to get the control of this mushroom tower, and if they get it, mind it, guys, this will be the best decision that they have made, because they are already going to get the edge out of this particular cycle. They can easily fight back from this particular area. MELISE Esports are now going to get connected by OZAROX Esports as well, I believe. So yeah, MELISE Esports is in a lot of trouble. At the same time, Major Pride now have got figured out. Now their nades are coming in. They are also getting retaliated. I would love to see how far the situation goes on, and eventually if this connection is going to be enough or not. A lot of speculations are there. Some more nades, some more throwables, but still the job is not done yet. There are not a lot of knockouts coming into the play. BESIKTAS Esports versus Major Pride. What was your pick, guys, at this part? Oh, that spray was huge! Finally, with that nade, one good player has been taken down, but same has been said for Major Pride. It's a 1v1, a true 1v1 at this point. Oh, the sprays were massive. The DBS goes in, but a beautiful drop shot. And finally, BESIKTAS are eliminated, and Major Pride are going to be becoming the pride of their fans.
One more time, it's going to be an incredible one. Let's see how things eventually pan out. Because so far, it's only down to 5 teams. And slowly, steadily, Team MELISE need to go on and revive that third fallen player. And they do that. 0 kills for the start of Team OZAROX Esports. This is something we haven't quite yet witnessed. Yeah, they are still barely surviving with only one player. It's the only team that I think the second most number of kills. Major Pride desperately needs with. They know that after those 2 kills, one winner with a chicken dinner could mean so much for them. It could come out to be at the top 5 position. They were all the way towards the bottom, 6, which I know so far, but OZAROX also have the numbers advantage. I mean, fighting up in a 4 versus 3 versus 2 fight isn't going to be easy, especially when MADBULLS have 4. We have Team OZAROX as well, we're having 4, and the zone now actually going in towards the bottom left position. So now this happens to be a little tricky situation, because the next zone is definitely going to go on towards the start of OZAROX and Team ARR as they find themselves right in the center. But slowly, steadily, the closing comes in. OZAROX versus MADBULLS could be the first fight, and the advantage could really be taken from the other side. And here we go. MELISE is the one who takes down the first player. That's going to be from MADBULLS inside the squad house. Now, if there's a third party coming in, this could really buy so much time that Team MADBULLS could really revive their fallen player. But this squad house is such a big center of attention. I don't think Team MADBULLS could really one and get some knock and at the same time get away with it, because they are really going to pin down from all 4 corners.
Yeah, definitely. If the connections come in, if MADBULLS gets confronted with a third party, I believe that third party team is also going to get connected with a lot of shots, to be precise. But at the same time, I'm actually worried for Major Pride. I don't know how they're going to rotate, because their vehicles are already damaged. Their utils are not that much, because yes, BESIKTAS didn't have that much utility. They were able to get 3 finishes, out of which 2 were a very early finish. And eventually, if you talk about the last one, that was also in the mid stages of the particular match. But AR Esports at the same time has been eliminated, unfortunately, at the 5th position. That means, I believe, somewhere around 3 position points and 5 for the finishers. That means 8 points of a game. And let me remind you guys, it is a decent play. It is a decent play coming up. But OZAROX Esports is now getting connected. And the guy known as OZAROX Esports himself has been taken down by MELISE Esports. Is it going to be an elimination factor coming into the play? I believe that can happen. But there could be a retaliation. There could be a revival also coming in. Some more nades, some more throwables have been used. Definitely the damage is coming in, no doubt in that. But OZAROX Esports, if they lose their one good guy, I believe they are going to lose the manpower. They're going to lose the element of surprise that was there for the particular team. But the last one standing from MADBULLS is also trying to rotate his way and make his way to the squad house. It will be not easy, but yes, he finally is in the squad house, which is again kind of a good thing. You would love to see how the revival goes in. Okay, one more player has been spotted in the open-ended areas, but gets connected at the same time. With that, MADBULLS is now also trying to confront and get as many aspects as possible. But OZAROX Esports, let's see how they're going to perform against MELISE. But there is a revival coming in, and that's good. Again, a very early revival, to be honest, so that they can actually get back the player and also go ahead and spawn around, particularly in the play zone. But look at MADBULLS, still comfortably sitting in the center POI. A lot of teams are going to have their eye on that particular squad house. But who is going to get the final show? That's the big question.
Indeed, and I think really slowly, steadily, the way teams have been really moving up is going to be something to talk about. But now, in the final circle, it all comes down to 4 teams. Only 4 teams remaining. The battle for winner chicken dinner is going to be what I'm going to be really excited for. Team MADBULLS, they have the 4 players advantage, and with a forecast of 30% win ratio, they are right closest towards the start of what OZAROX Esports also has in hand. 4 players alive. The first team to get out is definitely going to be Team ARR. But Major Pride, what a game it's been for them so far. 13 total kills. They don't have much chunk of that entire zone in their favor. But being at the corner, the damage is coming in. And it's not just from the players being fired up, but it's also going to be from the backlines, as the blue circle is going to come in, and that's going to put them in a worse spot. Now, the util, the healing is only going to be that 1 point, which they would consider. Team MELISE is also counting on this 1 reach, which really gives them so much cover, but the damage comes through towards the side of team. None other than in Major Pride, and the first player is already down. Now it comes out to only 1 player, and I think that's a squad elimination. Well, it's going to be none other than MADBULLS actually getting up that advantage, and that really pulls them. That brings the first 2 kills. I think before that, they only had 1 or maybe 0, but after that, they are now starting to make some numbers. Team MELISE is also going to be the up next team, who one by one are just giving these peaks, and the duels are being so well played from the side of MADBULLS.
See, I won't be surprised to see that Major Spice still being on top because they had 13 eliminations and getting out at the fourth position, I believe, is going to get them 4 position points as well. So that will be a 17-pointers match for the team known as Major Spice, and that was absolutely good. But after getting this kind of smokes, I really believe at this point that MADBULLS is trying to overextend, to be honest. Because if they're going to get connected pretty soon, things won't be that comfortable. One good guy has been taken down from MELISE Esports' perspective as well. Another play goes in. Yes, OZAROX is getting connected, and finally MELISE Esports have been destroyed from both the angles. One good guy was taken down from OZAROX and 2 from the team known as MADBULLS, and now the concentration has been divided. This time, MADBULLS is looking very good. The domination factor comes in, and I really believe at this point the chicken dinner could come in for this team, and that's exactly what happened. They had somewhere around, I guess, 6 or 7 finishes in their favor, so I guess that's a huge game. Kind of a decent play coming in, but I really am actually waiting for a game where we'll get to see 25 points or 28 points, because that is the kind of gameplay that these teams are capable of, but eventually other teams are not letting it go that easily. I would talk about Major Spite because yes, that could have been the team. If they had the manpower, they could have easily secured a big chicken dinner, but obviously they were getting cornered after getting the elimination onto BESIKTAS Esports. They had the beautiful mushroom tower, but eventually the play zone was not that favoring for the team, and that is why they had to rotate. That is why they had to change the performance. And one good guy was taken down by CEO RTR, I believe, and eventually after that, MADBULLS also came in very good. At the second position, this team had dethroned, I believe, both ARR and some other teams as well, so that's quite good. This is phase number 1, day number 2, match number 6 to be precise, and you can clearly see a 18-pointer game coming in from the team known as MADBULLS. 2209 is the damage that they were able to, I guess, destroy, which is absolutely amazing. Players like Tolika, players like you are absolutely amazing. No doubt in that. We have seen a lot of amazing stuff coming from these giants. I would love to see how far they're gonna go, but eventually let's talk about the team stats. Blackie has the damage, has the highest amount of damage, to be honest, but eventually he was able to convert those damages in the finishes. On the high side, if we talk about the Liga, that was the guy with 595 damage and 4 eliminations as well. If we talk about the knockouts, that was amazing when it comes to Zarish, because he had the damage of 614, 2 eliminations, and also 3 knockouts, which is kind of a good thing. If we talk about Frozen 444, again, a lot of damage, but still not a lot of eliminations. But at the end, if you have 8 eliminations, I believe that's kind of a decent play. Teams to watch are also here. MADBULLS, after having a rotation of 7.8 kilometers, they had 8 smokes, 11 smokes and 8 nades, and along with that, 1 volley being utilized. If I talk about Major Spide, they were also trying to rotate a lot. You can clearly see 7.25 kilometers is the distance that they were able to travel, in which they used 9 nades, 28 smokes, and eventually 2 mollies as well. For MELISE Esports, not a lot of big rotations, to be honest, because they were pretty close to the particular circle, and they had a lot of control in the mid areas of the particular circle. But eventually, look at the number of smokes, 29 to be precise. Same can be said for ARR, because they were rotating from a very long distance. Eventually was able to survive till the top 5, if I'm not wrong, but that's it.
And Matt Fluky comes up to be on top only with 1 elimination. Is that the most least kills we have seen for an MVP? Like, there has to be something more than that, right? Like 665 damage, 1 elimination is all he got, 3 treble use and 3 assists. But the damage was really miraculous, and the contribution for him, I think the time where Team MADBULLS eventually started to take up those fights and get themselves some elimination point was in the last 5 minutes. When they had only top 4 teams, where they had only, I think top 12 players right next to them. They took each and every one of them one by one. First cleared off Major Pride, then went in against the side of Team MELISE Esports. And before the end circle closed down, they took down the final team, which was none other than Team BESIKTAS. But I think that was really incredible for them. And competing up against the start of RUTHLESS Esports gave no chance to them. But Major Pride has to be the team to talk about. No me. Being the one with highest damage, with highest elimination, and perfect from the start of Major Pride as well, coming out with highest knockouts. When it comes to highest healing, it is going to be none other than Gaming Gladiator Tixie, and it's going to be Pruder from the side of, I believe, Team Major Pride, who comes up with highest assist. So it was completely a Major Pride game. I think if you'll take a look after the entire standings, 17 points for the team who got eliminated at the 4th spot. But at the back of 13 eliminations, that was wonderful. And with only 8 elimination, I mean, this is still good. Bulls only had 1 elimination before the last zone came in, and then they took down 3 teams, and that's what bought the 8 elimination. But an 18-pointer winner and a chicken dinner for them, and just 1 point beneath, it's going to be none other than Major Pride. So I'd love to see how the overall standing now looks for them. I think number one is definitely being stolen away, not just from the side of SBG, but also I think Team Fireflex is going to be somewhat to struggle. And as we saw, the winner chicken dinner was being won from the side of Team Major. No, it was the other team who came out to win, which was MADBULLS. Now Team MADBULLS is standing strong at hashtag 2. But taking a look after the start, 7,604 healing, 57 knockouts, 58 eliminations, 239 throwable use, and the longest elimination distance stays in as 239. But overall standings, ARR who
wow.
up and MADBULLS, they push back Team FLUX Esports and MELISE and SBG in the bottom, like 3 positions of the top 5.
I mean, the jump of 4 amazing positions is absolutely huge. But when we talk about ARR Esports, I was expecting that ARR Esports will be getting diminished a lot, but eventually look at them already getting the first position. 59 points, that's what they have now. The buffer is of 3 points to be precise, which can be converted pretty soon. But FLUX Esports, they are about to get their favorite map, that is the Miramar, which is going to happen after this particular matchup gets over. I mean, all the signings are already done and dusted, so I really believe we are waiting for the match to get started pretty soon. The match is going to get started, but eventually if we talk about the back pages, surprised to see once again that Sky Europe, they had the effort, they had the 3 eliminations, I believe, in this particular matchup, but still not enough. 8 points, that's what they have. Gaming Gladiators also went out for a long battle, but still 17 points. Nexus Gaming, unadmitted way too early with 21 points. Same can be said for BESIKTAS. BESIKTAS on the hindsight was also decently good, I believe. Just surviving with the 2 players, they were able to get quite a few finishes with Major Pride. A jump of +3 positions in their favor is absolutely huge. No doubt at this point that Major Pride can easily have more and more control. Maybe get some good finishes in the next map as well. Miramar won't be that easy for Major Pride, but eventually the way they were fighting back, the way they were pushing the players and getting the eliminations with the vehicle clashes, I believe that can happen once again in Miramar. And if that happens, it will be an opportunistic match for the team. But after a quick short break, we'll talk about that. Once again, after a quick short break, indeed, we are back as promised. And now we are going to looking forward to, I guess, the map of Miramar, which will be the 7th match of the phase number 1. And remember, guys, we are about to embark the halfway journey. I definitely have to see what happens eventually after that, because 59 points have already been secured. But let's talk about the schedule so that we can have an idea of what is coming up next and what is already passed around. So yes, the first map of Erangel is already in the favor of MADBULLS, and I believe it was an 18-pointer bomber coming from this particular team. No doubt, once again, I believe we have an honorable mention of that particular map, and that is Major Sprite with 13 eliminations. They were also quite good. Now Miramar is actually the next map. Erangel, then Miramar, then Erangel. That means we do have 2 Miramars and 2 Erangels left in a vice versa situation. So definitely have to see how the whole situation goes on. At this point, 6 matches have been passed, and still we are at 0-0 when it comes to the predictions. So pretty soon, I guess we are about to get a good or maybe a right prediction. But at this particular matchup, taking the pick of FLUX Esports could be a safer one, but I would like to actually go for ARR.
Oh yeah, I think that's a very smart pick. But like, if you ask me, I definitely want to see an hat trick. I definitely want to see how
Oh,
flawlessly it's going to go on. Team Farflux Esports is surely going to be one of my predictions. And I think Team Farflux have been surely proven themselves up in the very second map, in the very fourth map of yesterday. And now it's like an hat trick chance for them to ace it all in. Whenever it comes to Miramar, they have just kept on going better and better. But out of all the homeworks which teams have done, let's see how things eventually go on. Because like you going on for ARR Esports, I'm gonna go on for FabFlex. Let's see what the chat is gonna go on with. Because I think Miramar is this one map which happens to be really really tricky. But now let's go on and take a look after how this game is eventually gonna pan out. Yesterday we saw like two amazing circle. First circle going all the way towards Machera and Los Leones. The other circle, I think it went between the side of La Bandita. Then we had Picato and Hacienda. So, like being still a little lower centric circle, it doesn't give teams a lot and lot of, difficulty. But when it goes all the way towards the northern side, when it goes all the way towards, these mountain positions where you have to climb up, where you have to, just go towards El Pozo, maybe towards La Cabria, that's where the real struggle starts up for most of the teams out there. If it's in the lower ground, it's going to be one of those flat plateaus. But if it goes top, if it goes towards El Azhar, if it goes towards Cruz de Well, that's where the real game of, height advantage comes in. So I'm going to be really excited to see how the plane path and the first circle is going to come in as we dive over towards the second game of the Ruthless Europe Invitationals, and this is going to be for the first time we'll be seeing the map of Miramar in the day 2. It's the match number 7 and only 8 more matches will be remaining for the first phase to end up, and so far being at the number 1, it is none other than ARR, but the flight path seems pretty decent. Starting up from the central east, going on towards the central west, it's going to be Impala till El Pozo, and teams are going to have a very steady time to move in towards any corner of this map.
I mean, it's a diagonal one, but eventually, yes, every single location is already accessible. Be it Los Vegas or Picardo, Monte, or even El Pozo is actually on the line. La Cobra this time is also pretty close, so teams can glide out and eventually just have the advantage out of it. But I feel a multiple amount of teams have already jumped in the flanks, like BESIKTAS is jumping to the areas of Elazar, and this time they're not going to have any kind of clash. Yara on the other corner is also trying to go for the Krasdal Valley or maybe some other security locations that is actually there in the game. Other than that, Slay Europe is actually going to fight back. I believe this could be a very good fight in the Minas region. I would have to see how the situation goes on in that particular area. Nexus on the other corner, I've got the Impala region in their favor covered up. Oh, the zone has taken a northern shift. That's interesting. Well, I believe, yes, there is a huge number of teams which are already jumping in the lower stages, but still the fight could come in. That's interesting. That's interesting. FPT is again getting surprised a lot. They have been picked off. One good player has been taken down. Not just that, the fist was actually coming in. Finally, another one gets taken. What is happening? FUT are shutting down like just quite rapidly, to be honest. As SPG is actually having the biggest advantage at this point because they're about to get the 4 finishes way too easily. The last one is also trying to fall back, but a beautiful S197 goes in. Victor was taken down, but still the M16 shots from Robs was absolutely amazing. And with that, the complete control of this particular map, of this area of San Martin, is actually in the hands of SPG. And this was a very opportunistic fight. It could have actually backfired, but eventually SPG committed, and they committed fully, and they had the advantage at the peak. On the hindsight, FLUX Esports, one of those teams which was actually quite good when it comes to the map of Myanmar, because you remember all the maps that have been happened before this was in the control of FLUX Esports. I would have to see how FLUX is going to perform in this one. But if we talk about Brazil Esports' players, a sort of shotgun kill coming in. That's interesting. And Sly getting picked up like that. And that's quite demeaning, to be honest. But again, another player could be spotted. Scarrel is there in the hand of Reflect, I believe. That was an interesting shot coming in, a body and a head shot coming in. And with that, a beautiful knockout on Elvis's perspective has been taken down. Now, even if Coursera wants to go ahead and get the revival, while rotating, he can be taken down. Same can be sent for other players like Ezers and also the one which is surviving in the back end like Hiral, to be precise. So, yes, Elvis got now at a very offside, to be honest. And in getting the revival is not going to be that easy for the team.
Surely, but I mean, that's a pretty hard start for them. But let's see how situation goes on as the fight for this Minas will still goes on. Minas Grenades has been one of the places where always you're gonna see Team RUYA Esports alongside Lee Euro, but what a damage! And that what happens when you're down to no helmet. Zero helmet for them. I think Madria is gonna get spotted from the side of Courage. Let's see if RUYA Esports could really manage to get that first breakthrough. It's gonna be UMP up against these Uzis. And Uzi in long range, it's like just 11 to 9 damage. You need to connect at least 10 bullets, and that to make sure that you're lucky enough to get one of the headshots, because if it's an headshot, it's at least a 20 damage. But let's see how situations are going to come in, because now the number still looks good for the side of Team RUYA Esports. A 1-1 split between Reflect and Madrian, and now slowly steadily as the time burns apart, the zone is also closing down. Now where is the zone going to head on? MADBULLS just 3 points away from getting themselves the number 1 position. ARR is going to be one team to definitely watch out for, but SBG, the first team, I think, to come up as the winner chicken dinner, but after that, they haven't yet won a single one. For esports, they ended up their last day with a winner chicken dinner, still looking for one, and major pride up at the top 11 after that previous game, like a brilliant performances. RUYA Esports still struggling at 13 and all the way towards the bottom. It's gonna be, unfortunately, Slee Europe. But Slee Europe and Team RUYA Esports now up against each other. And so far, I think the numbers have been really looking quite favorable for the side of Team RUYA Esports. Slee only have 3 players alive with them, but already have 1 defeat. But let's see how long does this fight goes on. Because you remember when I said whenever these teams have to fight up against each other in a drop clash, it's not just the casualty which are the problems. It's the time which totally gets burned up. Teams getting very less amount of time to get the loot and to ensure a very steady, like inventory to carry on for the rest of the game. But Team MELISE is going to go up against Team ARR, and already 1 player has fallen down. So this is going to be an unfortunate position. Nonetheless, Team MELISE will be enjoying the numbers advantage if the fight goes on against ARR.
Oh yeah, definitely that can happen. Same goes for Bryce as well. Getting back Elvis in the game was absolutely important for the team. That's exactly what happened. Elvis was knocked out at an offside, but still, due to the team effort of Bryce, the revival was done in that set. And now they've got the open top Berardo trying to rotate, trying to get the flying into the perspective. And if that flank works, I believe a beautiful control from Bryce versus a perspective can be established. But yes, the main concern is to be in another zone, which is actually going to get summoned up pretty soon. Yes, the early rotations could be favorable, but yes, being on the edge is going to be the most favorable part. You can clearly see a lot of teams are still lurking on the back ends of this particular leaderboard. But yes, 6 matches have been passed, 8 more to go. Things can change quite rapidly, excluding this one. But yeah, there we go, a beautiful slam. I was surprised to see a knockout coming in. I am not a knockout coming in, to be honest, but another knockout comes in. Oh, that was a huge jump. He was flying like a Superman and gets a beautiful pick on Sly Europe's perspective. And the last player standing, Reflect, is going to reflect the team spirit for the team. Okay, now the punching back scenario is going to come in. That's interesting. But yes, Shipa has been taken down. Shipa has been taken down. Mandarin has been fixed off. And now it's all about Reflect. He wants to fall back, but how he's going to pull back from this situation is the biggest loss. I don't know what is happening to Sly Europe, because they are once again getting tackled with the drop clashes, and they are unable to survive with that because of that I believe flank that was there from a Reflector's perspective. If the team was pretty much concluded in a single area, confined in a single area, then I believe at that point maybe Bryce could have tackled. But yes, Kaiser is in a very open space going on. Fails to connect a lot of bullets, and with that, the opportunities falls in the hands of Bryce versus that could actually backfire. That huge jump coming in. He's trying to heal himself. Oh no, he has got the micros. He was buying time. But finally, Kaisers find the player, the last one standing from Sly Europe. This is the second earliest team that has been wiped out from this particular matchup, and at the 15th position, no position points whatsoever, and not even a single elimination. So Sly Europe is going to remain at the bottom, I believe, with just 8 points in their favor.
Exactly, and now taking a look after all the other teams, there still could be some chances for the side of Team RUYA Esports to get a long run. As BG, meanwhile, I think one of their players did fall down against Team ARR, and now they are competing up against the side of Team OZAROX Esports, who are just right in the Hacienda's, like warehouse side. Kakashi has a Scarrel. The buggy is going to be taken out for a good run, and I think this play is going to come in from the side of Kashi. Doesn't lance any bullet, but still the retaliation is good, and the retaliation will force him back. MADBULLS and Team FLUX are going to be struggling out of the entire zone. FLUX, so far we haven't yet seen their names, not even for once, in the entire kill feed. We have seen Team ARR. Oh, even next RUYA is going to be one of the teams. But oh, the monster truck is looking in a very tough spot, and I think that's going to be it. Why would he overcome it so hard? Especially knowing for the fact that there are two players. Well, there's a backup, but that backup is from the side of ARR. If he wants to carry, if he want to get some kill, get some good loot, that's up to him. But surely he is going to take the two easiest points for his team. And MADBULLS will carry on with their top 10 positions. Already they have made their way in towards the 13th, 11th, I believe. And after that, I think they're just one more point away to come at the top 10. I mean, Team Major Pride, this second day has been all a road of redemption, which they have showed us. But Team AR are still standing up strong. I think MADBULLS is just going to be 2 points behind them. And slowly, steadily, Team Next RUYA is going to be down to 2 players. Major Pride, 28 points. All 4 players are going to be surviving. And GAIMIN Gladiators, always having the numbers advantage, but before we see them even in the end circle, they have never made it in the top 4 position, and that's the worst part.
Yeah, I mean, despite of having the fact that you have got the manpower, you are unable to cut up the rotations, and that is actually the most important thing, getting the rotations right. So I really believe today gaming gladiators should actually showcase some talent about that perspective. But on the hindsight, one more pick out, and that's it. Next two has been eliminated by gaming gladiators as well. We were talking about the team, but eventually with the vehicle blow, they were able to get 2 amazing finishes. That's kind of good for them. And they are about to dethrone NEXUS Esports in a span of just 2 finishes. And if that happens, it will be amazing. But BESIKTAS Esports once again coming up close to a lot of teams. Beat NEXUS, beat some of the teams working in the southern compounds. I would love to see how those performance goes on. But again, a vehicle blow. But that Zessie has been taken down, not just taken down, completely finished off and evaporated from the lobby. Another spray coming in. I would love to see how that spray gets connected, because from the back end, from the right area, there could be another spray, and that's huge. BESIKTAS Esports is not going to enjoy this moment. He has to fall back. He has to be back on the game. Yeah, the sprays are coming in, and from the back end, I believe it is going to be Major Sprite, which is also going to appoint some huge sprays onto the players. At this point, I really believe Nexus Gaming could be one of those teams which can actually pull up with a longer sense of a game. But yeah, it won't be easy for sure. They have to cover up a lot of flanks. They have to cover up a lot of areas. Because remember, guys, I usually say as a caster that whenever you fight in Miramar for more than 1 minute in the second stage or the third phase, or after that, to be honest, I'm not talking about the first phase, that 10-minute marker of the first phase, but eventually after the second phase comes into the play, and if you're fighting for more than 1 minute, expect a third party coming into the play. That's what Major Sprite, that's what NEXUS, that's what BESIKTAS is suffering from.
Surely I'm going to agree with you on that. But out of the zone, I think the struggle still moves on for the side of gaming gladiators. And AR are also, after losing that one player, they haven't yet made it in the circle. See, it's the first circle, it damages you like at least 1 damage in the next few seconds. But now, as this shrinks in towards the third circle, let's see where it's going to head on. I think it's going to be more of a centric one. No, it goes on towards a northeastern centric. But yeah, the teams in the center are still going to have a pretty big advantage. Now, one warehouse is completely left out open just beneath the water treatment. And that's where gaming gladiators are going to move on. I think slowly, steadily, even Team BESIKTAS would want to go and get some control towards the mid circles. Because whenever you are in the center of the entire circle, that really ensures you not just that circle being inside the zone, but also the next one being the closest to it. It's way better to be at the center than to be at the corner, but it comes up with its own pros and cons. If you do not want to initiate inside the fight, maybe those corners could really be a big value. But now Team NEXUS Gaming is going to take a very big anti-clockwise rotation to get themselves in towards the circle from the northern side of the entire play. Cruz the Mill is still going to be holded off from the side of MELISE Esports, and the fight for Asiana, okay, he throws away a bandage if I'm not wrong. Yes, you. I think the previous game for MELISE was just tremendous, and I think this was the one player who really popped off great when it comes to these individual impactful plays. But just right next to him, I can spot Team MADBULLS and ARR as well are really at the close corner. OZAROX Esports could spot Team MELISE in the hacienda position, and it's going to be Kissy who will be first getting spotted down. And yes, he gets it. He spots one. He has a mini in his hand, so that's not one of the most promising one. Shot comes through from another angle. If he goes for the heal, one headshot could land, but Storm is just making it look as if he's just watching it out with the lens, just trying to click some pictures while no shots have been taken quite yet. Storm, he has the numbers advantage. I don't know what the trigger patience is holding on for.
Yeah, I mean, yes, he could actually shut down the place, but just right now, I Oh yeah, Poser is in the game. That's interesting. One of the biggest asset for MELISE Esports, that is Poser, is back in the game. So I really believe this could be one of those huge matches coming in from MELISE Esports, because having Poser is obviously going to give this team an aggressive stance in the game. I would love to see how that goes on in the latest stages of the matches, but we have to poke. We have Nanim and also Becca 77, to be honest, in this particular matchup. That is AR Esports. Pretty close to the water treatment region, there are quite a few teams which are coming up with a close circle. Brazil, if we talk about SPG, they're also in the close circle. Bryce versus finds one, and Nexus is actually going to get connected. Let's see how SPG's player are also going to perform, because they had the complete control of the San Martin region, if you guys remember, but right now they're getting pushed up on the edge due to the play zone. Bryce Sports, after getting one good knockout, they're trying to actually get another set of finishes, but that won't be easy for sure. MELISE Sports' player are getting quicked off. Swain finally pops out with a beautiful mini 14 attack. That attack is not enough, because yes, the distance between those two compounds was huge. So yes, getting the knockouts and putting up a lot of pressure, diminishing the West helmet and the armor will be the call out for teams like OZAROX Esports. And after that, in the later stages, whenever MELISE Esports decides to rotate, they can actually have the upper hand in it. But unfortunately, the play zone has decided something else. MELISE Esports and both OZAROX are now going to be on the edges. And if I talk about teams like FLUX, teams like SBG, these are the few teams which have to push forward and get the advantage. MADBULLS on the other corner is already getting knocked out. So that's interesting. Let's see how far they can push back in the game.
Exactly. I mean, 50 players still remaining. And with that, now Team RUYA Sports actually you have to go in. But Perfect, meantime, gets a headshot through the mini. Now the spray comes in with the third party for the side of RUYA Sports, as NEXUS is going to take him down. And now all of a sudden, within a blink of an eye, Team RUYA Sports are down to only 2 players. This is now a little unfortunate for them, as Major Pride have been really capitalizing. From the backline comes in Team NEXUS, and I think Team FLUX as well, alongside MELISE Esports, will be all occupied in the western side of the fight. So Team RUYA Esports still have to do a lot of rotations to just get themselves up in the safest spot, because this is really being the center of attention from each and every angle. Team NEXUS has to come in, and they're surely going to come directly inside this entire crosshair. Meantime, Team REGNUM CARYA are going to be spotted off. A fall damage being taken, and Kedge gets taken down. Team FLUX, I don't know what went wrong. I don't know how did Kedge got even knocked off out of being inside the building. It did show that he fall to his own death on the kill feed, but I think that's just going to be an unfortunate position. REGNUM CARYA still being spotted away. SBG closes into one MELISE, and the nade is going to take down the MVP player from SBG, Victor. As Victor falls up, there's only 3 players remaining, and Team SBG, they have 4 knocked. The DBS is still in the play, but now he has to reheal. The Hacienda is going to be such a big hotspot, we did not really realize. But now in the end circle, Team MELISE are really struggling to fight back after getting totally diminished here. But Zio with yet another. Oh, this nade is going to be beautiful, but the counter nade also comes in. This another nade could really damage Wallow, but Wallow somehow manages to dodge it. The revival is coming in, but the shotgun is 12k is going to give the taste to its very own medicine, and that's going to be SBG down to only 2 players. Well, there's a revival being taken off, but is Team SBG good enough for that entire retaliation? S8 versus, I think it's 12k, but MADBULLS with the nade, and that's the third party from the side of MADBULLS, which is going to give so much advantage towards the side of SBG.
Now Bozo becomes the last one. Okay, along with that, KCU is still surviving. That's good. The player is still starting to survive. If I talk about CEO again, the approach is not going to be that easy, because he's pretty much knocked out in the carriage region. It won't be that easy for players from MELISE supposed to get up with the revival. But yeah, at this point, MADBULLS can actually have the upper hand in this particular fight. A molly, that's all we need, but in the wrong direction. Oh man, that's rough. That's rough. That's quite an anticipating type of fight coming in. Some more nades, some more throwables are being utilized at this point. S197 in the hand. There could have been another shot, but before that, the player gets taken down. SBG's Akashi has been taken down. Now Victor also gets very popped off. I would love to see how SBG is going to perform at this moment, but seems like that SBG is about to get taken down. Domination factor for MADBULLS is working out quite well. If we talk about MELISE Esports, the last player standing is going to be KCU along with the Poser guy. Oh, KCU gets taken down. Now Poser becomes the last one. He has to approach. He has to go ahead and be a bit more opportunistic, to be honest, because yes, Poser is one of those players which can give the aggressive advantage for the team, and we did saw that aggressive advantage when we had a fight between SPG and MELISE Esports. But eventually, after the third party fight, well, that advantage is actually out of equation. Once again, Poser has been founded, and yeah, there we go. Another knockout. Oh, it was about to be a 1v2, but finally, froze the guy known as Boza from MELISE Esports, and that's it. At the 12th position, MELISE Esports has been taken down. Remember, not even a single position point for them, and just 2 elimination points is there in their favor that has been created, which is good. But GAIMIN Gladiators, they are performing like the way we were expecting them. 6 amazing eliminations. They are already dominating, and that's huge because now, due to their performance, I believe GAIMIN Gladiators could actually go ahead and snatch up the position from BRA, NEXUS, and also BESIKTAS Esports because they are up close to it. And eventually, if I'm not wrong, they have got 23 points, exactly the same number of what NEXUS is requiring. But no doubt, GAIMIN Gladiators is also losing one good player of the team, so things can backfire onto them. But Major Sprite, a very sneaky team in this particular matchup, is also trying to perform. And remember, guys, we have still not seen what FLUX is capable of because every single match, every single time Miramar came in, FLUX had the same idea that they are going to be like an invisible team in the first few cycles and eventually pop out way too well in the later stages.
Oh, the spray is good, and that's what he's going to take down the player from the side of, I believe, MADBULLS, and MADBULLS plate is instantly going to get away. The buggy damage really gets the kill towards the side of FLUX. Meanwhile, REGNUM CARYA will take down the final player of Major Pride. That's him getting eliminated at the 10th spot. So Major Pride had a big run, had a good run, but indeed not the longest enough, as this end circle near the Hacienda's position is really being a very big chaos right there. Like, just look after what's happening towards Hacienda itself. SBG, MELISE, and then you have none other than the ARR who are just so closely impacted. FLUX, all of these suddens have been surviving, and OZAROX Esports have been only this one team who have been all the way up with the 4-man advantage alongside Team NEXUS. Now, will that be a promising one to get themselves the winner chicken dinner is going to be a big question. But Tulka is also just holding up in Azurus. And these is really going to be good and promising enough to spot off. But Mini 42 bullets land, and that's going to be so much damage being done. The steal could really come in from the side of Team RUYA Esports as the shots are coming in. And it's going to be Storm who will be confirming the kill of the side of Elvish. Now Team RUYA Esports are down to only one single player. Team FLUX are just, cornered in this position. And lucky them, they only have a little chunk of their entire zone. But REGNUM CARYA, they get the domination, and RUYA Esports, I think, meantime, get eliminated at a very unfortunate position. They were outside the circle even before they could make their way in. It was all done and dusted from the side of none other than OZAROX. But OZAROX, they have been looking powerful. Now Team REGNUM CARYA with 3 players moving inside the zone. OZAROX, all the 4 players are right in the crosses of GAIMIN and Gladiators. And what is happening there towards OZAROX Esports? I think Team OZAROX Esports are just down to 2 players, and 2 of them have got knocked out. The revivals are coming in, but it's such a weak spot for them to be at, and these random sprays are really bringing in so much damage from the side of KU, as they might as well go in and get some more. And yes, that is seemingly being the case, but now we do realize that he might also run out with some bullets. Once again, the Nox comes in, it's going to be Senna who gets taken down, and what are these sprays coming in? They're just spraying down each and every player. Slifer gets eliminated. OZAROX, the only team who had 4-man advantage, is now going to be down to only 2.
And seems like that FLUX is actually going to get taken down. That's exactly what happens. Oh, Tulka, that guy particularly was absolutely amazing. A 1v3, I believe, from Tulka's perspective, that was huge. MADBULLS actually have secured a very big advantage in this particular matchup because they have secured 10 amazing eliminations, and that is obviously going to boost up their positioning a lot, and that is making this team a lot stronger. Look at that. Tulka has secured 6 eliminations. That's huge. But Tulka is about to get spotted very soon, and yeah, I believe with that, MADBULLS is also going to get eliminated at 7th position, just 1 position points for them, and a track total of 12 points from this particular matchup, which is again a very decent play. If a team particularly gets 10 points in a particular match of this particular standing, I believe it's good, it's decent for them. At the same time, if we talk about GAIMIN Gladiators, once again their concern is actually going to be OZAROX Esports as well. On the back end, it is going to be REGNUM CARYA, which is also trying to come up with some good shots, and there we go. Sven gets taken down. With that knockout, obviously the pressure is going to fall in the hands of OZAROX, because they thought for a second that OZAROX can rotate from this angle, but no, it won't be that case, and OZAROX is already getting attacked a lot. Kenzie on the other corner wants to rotate in the circle, wants to be in the area. NEXUS and BESIKTAS are actually in a tussle at this point. I would love to see what the result is actually going to look like. But yeah, Swain gets taken down. A domination factor for Zelicon is actually going to be there. Some more pushes, some more retaliations are going to come in. Kenzie's also gets taken down. So that's interesting. OZAROX Esports, one of those dominating teams which was able to shut down a lot of players from MADBULLS, is now looking on a very bad spot, to be honest. But yeah, some more shots, some more trade fights are coming to the play. One more player has been taken down. BESIKTAS are now trying to hunt down every single player. Yes, it's a 1v3 situation, and that is final. Oh, what? Peace did a 1v4? That is absolutely amazing. Peace actually chose the violence for today.
Oh man, that puts an elimination onto the side of Nexus Gaming. And now let's see how situations do turn around the side of none other than Gaming Gladiators. They have total of 7 kills. And I mean, them and Regnum CARYA are definitely being on top team. ARR is surviving with 2. And BESIKTAS Esports also going on, but the nade might do a little unpeace towards the side of Peace as he's down to only 20 HP. Now ARR Esports trying to close things down. Inja is just going to find himself right next to Becca. Let's see how situations comes along, because the team, I believe none other than BESIKTAS Esports, they are not in a comfortable spot, and Tapok just takes out Enjoy. Enjoy might even get turned down, so now it's a practical 2 versus 2. Tapok, there's no trade yet been there. Becca might get the confirmation, but the nade onto the side of Tapok might actually do the job. I think he is going to be down, and yes he is. 7 HP, what a beautiful nade. It all comes down to Becca, and Becca in a 1 versus 2 is going to be cornered, but I don't think it's a big risk for him unless he has the shotgun. The shotgun so far, it's a double DBS setup from the side of none other than BESIKTAS Esports, and BESIKTAS Esports now goes to close things down, but it's gonna be 7 HP will take down the final player. Becca gets taken down, and it's the top 3 for the side of BESIKTAS Esports.
One more big loss for the lobby. ARR Esports try to be consistent, try to have a lot of points in their favor. Remember, just 4 position points and 1 for the placement. I believe they're going to get 5 points in their favor. That's kind of a decent play. But at the same time, if we talk about REGNUM CARYA, once again, they're actually going to push forward. We have Loxy, Zelicon, and also another guy that is going to be wild 77k. I would love to see how that performance goes on. Son on the other corner has got a beautiful flank, has got a beautiful edge. Yes, there were multiple smokes coming from, I believe, other team that was there in this particular compound, and yeah, the smokes were good. Oh, again, a DBS confrontation could be there. Is it enough? No, not at all, because a drop shot by REGNUM CARYA finds again a very big momentum in this particular game. But Gaming Gladiators, this could be huge or not. I would have to see a good, beautiful chicken dinner from this particular team's perspective. Although, yes, Gaming Gladiators, just like the way the other team, REGNUM CARYA, is on the edges of the play zone, is also stuck on the edges. I would have to see how Tixie is going to perform through it. Tixie on the other corner is also trying to provide a huge amount of space so that they can avoid every single confrontation that is there in the mid circles. But yes, at the end, we have a beautiful kid coming in, and with that, elimination could come in. But no, player has got the haystack advantage. He's going to survive with that. There is no other flank angle which can easily suppress the player, so everything is in the hands of REGNUM CARYA to just completely shut them down. CARYA is not going to be that easy, but for sure, they're trying their level best to hunt down the players. 10 eliminations for this team. Gaming Gladiators on the high side have secured 7. So at this point, if the Gaming Gladiators gets another 7, they are going to have a 20-pointer bomber. And if we talk about REGNUM CARYA, if they are going to have the chicken dinner, this could be a huge 23-pointer bomber, which will be a record in itself for the phase 1.
Oh, surely. I think this is going to be unhittable. REGNUM CARYA and Team Gaming Gladiators, either team winning it will definitely get the first winner chicken dinner in the entire equation. After at least 6 matches being played, it's going to be Miramar who will decide. But the first frag comes in towards the side of Wild. And now Team REGNUM CARYA down to only 2 players. It's a 3 versus 2. With 10 total, kills already for the side of REGNUM CARYA. Let's see if they could really get 3 more for them. Nonetheless, Team GG, which is going to be, Gaming Gladiators, they're desperately wanting to take these many map control. And talking about the map control, just look how split Team, Gaming Gladiators. I think REGNUM CARYA, both of them are just surrounded towards a single position. And the first blood comes in against them. REGNUM CARYA might get eliminated in the molly, but do they? He survives in the pixels. HP possible. And now it's a 2v2. The revival has to come in towards Itzy, because after him being taken down, it's all an even-Steven situation. But if they play the zone here, this could work on really well. The smoke walls are coming in. Players are going to be using off these buggies to make sure that they get the rotation, and that is not what I'm a really big fan of. Rotating off with the buggy, maybe an ADS could be given away, and yes, that seems to be the case. They want to confirm the final kill, but the knock comes in, and that's one of the reasons I told that I'm not the biggest fan of these buggies, especially when you want to give those final, rotations. But now it's down to a 1 versus 2 scenario. The player being knocked down, Tizzy, is going to give so much intel. The 11th kill for the side. Team REGNUM CARYA is going to get confirmed. In a 1v2, Loxy, can he be good enough? He's trying to spot a pixel, but the zone is going to put some damage, and I think he might as well give away the entire, kill to the zone. Will it be the case? Yes, it would be the case. He would give away the kill towards the zone, and it's gonna be REGNUM CARYA winning the winner chicken dinner. Total of 11 finishes. I mean, that's incredible. Even if you ask after the start of GAIMIN Gladiators, in those final spots, they were really looking promising. But in the end, the numbers advantage did play against them.
I mean, yeah, GAIMIN Gladiators was able to get the chicken dinner, which was huge, no doubt in that. They had the control of the mid areas, they had the haystacks in their favor, and at the end, GAIMIN Gladiators with a very fruitful advantage in their favor is now in the top 8. That's absolutely amazing. 19 pointers of a game. A huge 1822 amount of damage was actually dished out from this particular team. No offense to the other team that was here in the lobby. They're also trying to fight back. I'm talking about REGNUM. They were trying to get the advantage out of it, but eventually they had the urge of decency to actually be in the zone. And at that same moment, the shutdown was actually coming. But finally, if we talk about the winner chicken dinner team statistics, we have Tixi with 659 of damage, 2 eliminations and 2 knockouts as well. On the high side, if we talk about the highest scorer for this particular team, it is going to be Kitsune for sure, because he was able to get 4 eliminations, and also with that 3 knockouts were there. Matic is one of those players which went out, I guess, way too early, but still at the end, his team is the one favorable team. His team is the one which was able to secure the chicken dinner, which is actually a very good team effort. Teams to watch are going to be once again GAIMIN Gladiators, REGNUM CARYA, and eventually MADBULLS along with BESIKTAS Esports. No doubt MADBULLS and BESIKTAS Esports went out a little bit early, to be honest, but still REGNUM CARYA and also GAIMIN Gladiators was also quite good. The glorified fights were absolutely amazing. 8.9 kilometers of a rotation in which they were unable to use a lot of utils. But same can't be said for the team known as REGNUM CARYA, because look at them, 12 nades and 26 moves along with the molly. That actually sums up to a 39 utils used. That's absolutely amazing. REGNUM CARYA's Zelicon was the guy which will become the MVP of this particular matchup, because he had 6 eliminations, 745 of a damage. Dribbles used were 8, and eventually for talk about assists, that was 2. Another guy was there with the 6 eliminations, if I'm not wrong, and that was coming from MADBULLS. But remember, guys, MVP is not just about the fragging, it's all about 40% of damage, 40% of survival, and 20% elimination. And that is why, due to the lack of survival rate, due to the lack of damage, I believe, MADBULLS is that player is not going to have the advantage of becoming the MVP of this particular matchup. But match record is already here, and clearly Seaswayne is the one with the highest amount of damage. And if we talk about the top travel distance, that is coming from No Excuse. Furia is the guy with the rotation of close to 12 kilometers, to be honest. And if we talk about REGNUM CARYA's wild 77k, he gets the longest elimination of this match. And GAIMIN Gladiators Miku finds 1 grenade kill.
Well, with that, let's take a look after this match goes. The individual scorelines of each and every team. Team REGNUM CARYA with 17. I think GAIMIN Gladiators with 19. MADBULLS are going to come up with the 12 total points, and it's going to be BESIKTAS with total 11. NEXUS are going to manage to find 6 alongside OZAROX Esports, but this game had to be for the side of teams like OZAROX Esports, who had 4 players. Then we had BESIKTAS, who just got almost a 2v3 there from the side of Team ARR. And talking about ARR, they also have somewhat 5 total points. Only 1 elimination, but they managed to come all the way up to the top 5 position. But MADBULLS will really manage to keep themselves up towards the number 1 position. ARR will slip down, and now it's going to be REGNUM CARYA who moves up towards the top 3 positions. So this is now getting interesting. 4 Turkish team already at the top 7 position. That's going to be something to talk about. Team SPG not having the funnest game possible. They had 0 points after this entire game. GAIMIN Gladiator got a big jump, 19 points as you mentioned, Raider, and before that, they had only 17 points, and with the 19-point marker, now they're all the way up towards the top 8. Let's see how situation goes on, because in the second page, we're seeing OZAROX Esports with 35. Still a jump for them. NEXUS Gaming still at the 14th, and Slee Europe still struggling to get in the double digits.
Yep, quite a few teams are there which are struggling at this point, which are unable to get, that many of points in their favor. But at the end, I would have to add on that Bryce was trying to perform. NEXUS also tried to perform. Major Spide once again tried to just maintain that legacy that they had in the previous matchup. But unfortunately, all of those things didn't work out. Overall rankings is now pretty much over. 7 matches have been passed, remember guys, 8 more matches to go. So in the next particular matchup, we are going to embark the halfway journey. And to be honest, I believe there is a lot of beautiful play coming in. I was surprised to see GAIMIN Gladiators performing the way they performed in this particular matchup. A huge jump from their perspective was there. Hashtag 8, that's a good position. But after a quick short break, we'll get to see what happens in the next one.
Good evening and welcome back once again to Ruthless Europe Invitationals. This time it's gonna be once again the Wrangle actions as we'll be heading over to with a very miraculous, like winner chicken dinner back to back, which we got to see first from the side of none other than Gaming Gladiators in the very first Miramar of today. And previous to that, it was none other than Wrangle, which was completely been annihilated from the side of Major Pride. MADBULLS. I'd love to see how the days are gonna go on because these are the teams who yesterday have been really struggling in the bottom four. Like MADBULLS, I think, were down to the bottom 6 position. Gaming Gladiators were down to the bottom 3 or 4, and now both of them really have made an entry in the 8 positions. But now, as we talk about the third game, it's going to be a wrangle. What are you going to be predictions coming into this map?
Let's go for Bad Bulls. I'm going to go for Bad Bulls right now. What about you, Apo?
I would definitely love to go for the side of none other than FLUX. I think we have not yet seen an hat trick in Miramar. The streak of them gets, somewhat down the line lost, but I think they are a team who win a winner chicken dinner in the every second match. Yesterday they lost Erangel, one in Miramar, lost Erangel, one in Miramar. Now they lost back to back 2 to 3 games, and I think when it comes down to the Erangel action, they haven't yet won a single Erangel. So FLUX is going to be one of the teams who I'm definitely going to be watching out for. But is it just me that most of the top teams have been really just zoning out lately? Because SBG was number 1. Now they are nowhere to be seen. I think there was another team which was FLUX who are totally getting, owned right there. And not just them, but bottom teams are now starting to really put themselves down in the top 8 positions. So, I mean, slowly, steadily, all the top teams have been really struggling up.
It's the day of the comeback, as I usually say. So definitely the comeback is coming in, and I'm actually quite surprised to see that there is a beautiful chase coming in from the teams which are blocking from around to like 14 to 15 position. They're jumping towards the 8th position, top 8 positions, to be honest. So this is the kind of gameplay that we usually expect. That's exactly what we are getting at this point, and I'm actually happy, to be honest. Along with a surprising moment for me, I'm actually quite happy to see that there is a chase coming in on the leaderboard. There is not a situation like one single team is dominating and others are just trying to chase them. Things are changing rapidly. Be it ARR, be it FLUX, be it some other team which is actually huge on their own meta. They are getting contested, they're getting picked up. But remember, guys, coming up next, this is phase number 1, day number 2's match number 8, which is known as the Wrangle map, is going to come in, and this is Ruthless Europe Invitational. The casters are rated in upturn, and moving forward, we are going to witness a beautiful flight path. What type of flight path is that going to be? I believe a diagonal one. Oh yeah, okay. It is starting from close areas of, like, let's say Gatka 6 houses, and it is going towards the areas of Kamishki, somewhere around that. So that's interesting. So yeah, Gatka 6 houses is going to get touched up. Georgiapur is going to get filled with 2 or 3 teams at least, and we usually see Rozhok is obviously going to be there, where the clash could actually come in. Along with that, Yasna is also there. So I believe we have a beautiful fight path full of clashes.
Oh yeah, I think this flight path is going to be so full of clashes, but you gotta feel bad for some of the teams, okay? Now, team next RUYA might really struggle to go on towards the side of a pair. Then we have the side of team OZAROX Esports, who solely enjoy the source of community base and the Nova Repnoya. Then we have one of the teams who move on all the way towards Milta, Power and Milta. As we mentioned, there are none teams going on towards Zaki, Sevani, Salberg, Kameshki. So that's going to be some of the places where you could really explore. But team Extreme are moving up. And FLUX are also just beneath them. Yeah, I think FLUX has to be there, because if not there, then I don't see them going anywhere near to Yasiana. At Yasiana, I believe it's going to be none other than BESIKTAS Esports going up against Team SBG for the second time. And the previous breakthrough went really good for them. But the early breakthrough against Team FLUX, the story continues, and this fight for Georgiapur is going to go on. FLUX this time gets the first part of contact, gets the first advantage, and just right next to them, let's see, the revival is coming in. There's a shotgun, but the damage has not yet been done. The door is going to be broken up, but Soulless M249 is going to do the job. And excuse me, gets the first one, but the backup looks beautiful. 2 players knocked from either side, one being confirmed. 1 versus 2 it is. Alvik, he does realize there's a revival going in play, but that's going to be it. Before even he could confirm any kills, FLUX are going to do the job, and that's going to be, excuse me, unfortunately getting eliminated in the very first minute of the game.
The guy didn't have an idea that there is a player on the backhand and eventually got shot down at the same exact moment. But BESIKTAS Esports are now getting confronted. Look at that. Some more nades, some more throwables being utilized, and the guy with the S686 is now going to get confronted. Well, it won't be easy for him to survive, and that's exactly what happened. The guy has been taken down. Another one is trying to come up with a trade. One good finish for BESIKTAS Esports. Now they're going to hunt down more and more players. Okay, a beautiful EMP45 with the iron side comes in. Two good players of the team has been taken down. It's surprising to see SBG performing the way they are performing at this point. And yeah, there we go. The bandits get started. Place has been picked up on the shoulders, and with that, the punching scenario is going to come in. Oh, he sliced him open with a beautiful sword. And finally, at the end, I believe Enjoy is going to enjoy the momentum and it's completely pushed forward on Victor. But remember, guys, Victor is surviving. The MVP for SBG is surviving. And yeah, he is showcasing why he's the MVP. He's patient, but he is furious. He is actually quite aggressive, to be honest. But yeah, he's getting the job done. He was able to get one knockout. S686 in the hands. I don't know, is it going to be easy or not? But yes, the AK sprays are actually, should I say, making the other guy fear a lot.
Surely, and I think slowly, steadily, Team SBG, after losing two players, now they're going to be really pissed off. I think it's down to 1 versus 4. Barzan up against the M4s and AK, and I think Victor definitely could do a lot of damage against Team BESIKTAS. I mean, there are 4 players, but I do believe that this switch on DBS is what he needs, but that's not going to be for too long. Microzy and Bison for the supremacy, and that's going to be Team SBG completely getting turned down. Top 2 teams have been really, up with something to go. I think yesterday it was SBG, first or the second team to get eliminated. Before that, FLUX, who have been looking really tall. Now they still survive strong. So let's see how things eventually go up. It's going to be Team REGNUM CARYA in the school position, and they have the apps for them. So I think this is the most comfortable spot for you to be at. You don't have to worry much about the zone unless it goes all the way towards the bottom island. But talking about the zone, the circle has already started to shrink in. And slowly, steadily, the way Team REGNUM CARYA have been still managing to suffer with some loot disadvantage. Let's see if they could really get those ideal weapons in the back of all the players' hand, because we're still seeing some of the UMPs. M4 is still in the hands of Trey. There's an M249 at the same time, and DBS for the start of while alongside an AK. So that still seems pretty much fair for esports. Meantime, going out there in the open in the prison and mansion position, I don't think there's any team towards shelter, prison and mansion, so it entirely for the startup for esports. So that's a pretty peaceful position for them, but do they have enough loot is the question. All of the teams here, Raider, has almost 4 players alive. There's not even a single team down on a numbers disadvantage, even though 2 of the team did got inside, a brutal fight, which was Team FLUX and none other than Ballistic Esports, but there's no more casualty signs, so this is really beautiful to see.
Oh yeah, eventually if you say that casualties are not coming, I believe that's the best part, because every other team has now actually left with the 4-man power. I would love to see how in the later sessions that kind of play is going to enact. FLUX, well, they were going down a bit because you can clearly see that the jump was massive. They had a buffer of 14 points from the top positions, but look at the political play zone. It's completely a northern one, and the teams which are jumping in the southern islands, like if I talk about OZAROX and also an NRX, not RUYA, to be honest, both of them has to actually rotate. But the gatekeeping scenario could be there, and that's exactly what Not RUYA is trying to do. Gaming Gladiators, after performing the way they performed in the previous matchup, again, I believe that the consistency has to be demanded from the corner. If they are consistent from hashtag 8, they can easily jump to the hashtag 5 positions. And if it occurs by esports, they're trying to rotate for now down towards the ruins region, and they're going towards these charts, and then eventually rotate from Georgiapol bridges to the areas of Rozok or maybe Rozok Border City. That could actually be the case, but Major Pride, this guy was trying to loot the ruins region. All of a sudden, he hears a vehicle rotation coming into the play. Was sneaky enough so that he can let go this particular team, because we all know if he was able to, I guess, put down 1 or 2 shots onto the players, things could have backfired onto him. But at the same time, PRIZEPOOL definitely have got an idea. They're trying to rotate. They're trying to get some good utils out of this particular whole rotation into the fave. And if I talk about Europe, once again, one of those teams which I would love to see perform, and eventually their performance has not yet come.
Oh yeah, I think that is something to watch out for, but slowly, steadily, let's see how the entire zone pushes away the team towards being really at the center. Most of the teams we have really been seeing get themselves in a cluster to entirely take the compound control. None of these teams love to fight in these open circle, and that pretty much explains why you want to just go on, get some fights, and where you don't have much, positions to recover if any of your one player gets knocked off. But 35 points for the start of Team RUTHLESS Esports. and they look still a very big contestants for the start of the top 10. ARR is just 4 point down to take away the position of MADBULLS, and MADBULLS, I think they have only one winner chicken dinner. So has Team ARR. They are the top two winner chicken dinners for the start of Team FLUX, yet not yet inside the number one position. They had a good strong lead yesterday, but then it's just a matter of these four points. 4 points of differential from the start of Team MADBULLS and Team ARR, but this M249, oh, this could be beautiful. FLUX Esports, one player gets taken down, yet another player just trying to close things down at a very close angle, but what is that knock? Drawn out of nowhere takes him apart. That's not even a legal one. An M249 on that 4x. That is beautiful. But finally, Tron is going to be melted down. And that's going to be down to only 2 players. He was really heating up a lot. And he had to cool down a bit. It's going to be fought from the backlines. Rookie 99 who manages to take him down. But Loxy is still going on for the heal. The revival has to come in. REGNUM CARYA comes out with a big retaliation there. But now they have to make sure that they first give the priority to these revival. They keep their numbers advanced strong, but for the esports, they've already lost 2 players, and there's no certain chance for them to recover unless they completely slammed quite next to Team REGNUM CARYA. They, just put themselves, throw some nades away inside the entire, like houses, and be lucky enough to get some kill. But now the zone goes towards the top 70 position, and the entire 70 salvo has been completely left open. The kill is going to be confirmed from the M249, and Team for Esports are going to be just down to only 2 players. Fallback has to come in, and with that, Buggy's where one of the tires of the Buggy has also been broken away. So FUT Esports is going to be in a real struggle spot if they want to really get away with these Buggies. I think the only best spot is for them to run away like that.
Oh, but again gets spotted, gets taken down by Tron. That was a huge M249 spray coming to the play. Obviously, the distance is way too high. If we talk over the distance, that's close to 150 to 200 meters. But still, FUT Esports has been taken down once again at the 14th position. They are in the leaderboard, and nothing is going to be possible for this team, to be honest, because look at that. Not even a single point, not even a single innovation, not even a single position points for them. So, all in all, a very upsetting game for FUT's fan. If we talk about Major Spide once again, I would love to see how they're going to perform because they have already secured 2 amazing finishes, and this was a beautiful bridge control that they had. And with those GP28 and other stuff that is going to be in the crates, they can easily have a very superior loot. And the team which actually lost 2 good players is going to be not RUYA, and you can clearly see now they are not even trying to push forward because they know they are left with 2 players. If they push forward, they are not going to be left with anyone, to be precise, in the lobby. That's how they want to play. That's how they want to be sneaky. But finally gets spotted, trying to get up a spray. But okay, they will let them go. And with that, the Water City control is still there for the team known as NEXUS, but they are still far away from the play zone. 600 meters to be precise, and that's exactly what they have to travel to be in the circle.
50 players remaining, 13 teams, and the zone is yet towards the northern side. So I think most of the teams might move around the warehouse. There's a big warehouse right next to there. Salver Mountains are going to be somewhat riskier. FLUX, meantime, gets taken down from the start of Major Pride, and that's going to be Pruder, who takes down Ketch, goes on for another knock. It's going to be Lutz as well, and what? Soulless also just blindly walks inside the crosshairs of Team Major Pride, and Major Pride just get away with 3 kills, and there's not even a single retaliation. The final player from the start of FLUX, let's see where he would be positioning himself up, as he is the only one lone survivor. But as the zone shrinks in, most of the team, halfway of the teams outside the circle, Team MELISE, Team ARR, none other than Oxurus, Team Major Pride, and Team none other than, next RUYA. But also, you have to count the start of Team NEXUS. They have the 4-man advantage, but not yet inside the circle. Meanwhile, NEXUS is going to close things down. DBS for the supremacy, and DBS actually is going to be the one who actually wins the fight. It was down to a pixel HP, and still manages to win the fight. It's going to be a nade coming in from the side of Doran, and the nade is not going to land much damage. But hey, the DBS and then the zone. Doran is playing the nade game here. He knows that playing against those DBS could be so vital. But oh, this nade is going to... What? It hasn't yet took him down? Oh, this is so risky. And just look after the respect which Team NEXUS is giving them. But just in the next of the time, KC gets taken down. And Team NEXUS, they're going to take each and every revenge for them. Getting down to these GBS's plays. They do take him apart. They do get some good loot. but now they are at least well 100 meters away from the safe zone. REGNUM CARYA also find themselves in a domination mode with total 5 elimination, but just how straight the teams are lined into a straight line. No teams towards Severny or the compounds, all of them towards the big warehouse and a compound. You see 3 houses, but there comes the good spray, but not the promising enough one. Storm has no healing, and that is what is a big concern at this point. He is completely out of the circle. Tilka just moves away with the buggy, and still no damage being done. So RUTHLESS Esports just a little lagging in the firepower. Maybe it's just a day off for them, but let's hope they're able to recover. But MADBULLS, meantime, they get themselves in the circle. Let's see if they could be the most promising one to get themselves in towards the end circle. But Silfiller is going to get spotted from the side of Tilka, and he is definitely wanting to make sure that he gets 1 point from this knock coming in towards the side of Silver.
See, it won't be that easy for OZAROX Esports to not make their way in the particular play circle, because obviously they have shot down players from the team known as MADBULLS, and MADBULLS is trying to gatekeep them. At the same time, if we talk about Major Spide, what is happening to them? Because they have amazing 7 finishes in their favor. On the other side, we have FLUX who has been taken down. That's interesting. He tried to what extent, eventually he was on the back foot. Another knockout is going to come in, and that's Zerish who has been picked off. With that, REGNUM CARYA is again going to have the control. 9 amazing defeats, that's what they have. A huge showdown of their skills, of their meta, of their regression is actually here. They were able to take down the SBG, I believe, and right now they are picking up the place from the team known as MADBULLS, which is actually on top. It won't be on the top till the later stages, because REGNUM CARYA, look at them. They have already secured the 2nd position. They have got the 10 finishes. They can easily go ahead and get more out of it. Frozen has been spotted, to be honest, and Talika on the other corner is also pretty much close to the fight. I would love to see how those direction goes. And finally, one more pick. It's Wild who is going to take down the 11th frag for the team. And all in all, MADBULLS are now left with just 1 single guy, and REGNUM is the officially #1 team in this particular lobby. Okay, that's interesting. Once again, MADBULLS is going to be another one. MADBULLS have also secured a beautiful point. That is a MADBULLS Talika. He wanted to actually get the advantage, but FLUX Esports is also in the pretty much close arena. I would love to see how far they're going to go, but in an open area, the guy has been spotted. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. So the guy is going to get spotted, and that's it. The complete shutdown comes in from REGNUM CARYA to the MADBULLS.
Well, and I think with that, it's gonna be down to only top 10 teams. And Team FLUX, a good knock to them. But did you just look, Team REGNUM CARYA have 12 total elimination? We started off with 64 team players. Now we are down to 31 players, and with 12 out of the 33 being eliminated, that is just incredible. Like, REGNUM CARYA is thirsty at this position is what I feel, and REGNUM CARYA is already up at the top 1 position. NEXUS meantime gets away with the kill onto the side of Doku, and as he gets taken down, slowly steadily Team REGNUM CARYA now putting that impact in towards the side of Team RUYA Esports, and RUYA Esports have been the one who is at the bottom of the position. Can they really fight back? The first player has already gone down, and whenever they have this 4 players advantage, that's when they attempt to just juggle a little bit up. But NEXUS, oh, the zone is really playing a key role. You look after the HP of Machina. I don't think he has enough HP. He has no medkit. He has no first aids. Yet he wants to run away with it. Giving Gladiators being the one who are on the chasing end. But I think they're lucky enough to bring himself up towards a safe spot. Maybe drop some first aids to him. But meantime, the zone is going to close in. This is going to be for the 5th circle. NEXUS down in the dip. Just right next to them, it's going to be Team GAIMIN Gladiators. And these end circles near Severny are really bring a big chaos for now.
Oh yeah. The problems are coming in for sure. 10 teams, 28 players, that's what we have. A lot of risk players going to come into the play. And we can see MELISE Esports Bowser once again becomes the last one starting, just exactly what happened in the previous matchup as well. Now here's with the Shark advantage, so he can survive till maybe the later stages of the game. But pretty soon, he will have to rotate. And while rotating, he's actually going to get obstructed a lot, because that Shark is in a very open-ended space. If we talk about OZAROX Esports, they're also trying to rotate. After shutting down the team known as MADBULLS, after trying to peak on MADBULLS a lot. No doubt, REGNUM CARYA was the one which was able to shut down MADBULLS, but eventually the way OZAROX was able to gatekeep them beyond the Rozhok region was absolutely impressive, because if that would have not happened, MADBULLS have easily secured the good play zone area, and then eventually some good plays could have come in. But finally, REGNUM CARYA, Zeligon with 2 finishes, Tron with 5. That's a huge amount of anticipation coming from the corner. And GAIMIN Gladiators, I don't want to see a very big chicken dinner coming to the corner, but I just want to see a consistent one, to be honest. I'm not asking for a chicken. I'm asking for a consistent game for GAIMIN Gladiators. If they get 10 to 15 points in this matchup as well, that will be absolutely eye-pleasing.
Oh, yeah, I think that will be really tremendous. But I think before this game started, Team REGNUM CARYA were all the way in the bottom position. And just look at them. Oh, what a knock onto the side of Kitson, eh? Strix is going to be the one who will take him down and will also confirm the kill in no time. So Team ARR, that's the first kill for them in the entire game. And now as they look up towards Tixie, who is just right next to them, Team GAIMIN Gladiators, they have to suddenly fall back. Because in 39 seconds, zone number 5 is going to show up. And I think that's going to be a pretty centric one. After the 4th circle, I think the 5th one is going to be the most centric circle you can expect. Meantime, RUTHLESS is going to be the one who might get eliminated at the 10th spot. And Team NEXUS are just in a dominant fashion. Like, they're just looking dominant. And so unfortunate that OZAROX got eliminated with 0 points, 0 finishes, 0 total, like placement point. And I mean, they are still struggling up towards the 10th spot. Making up to the top 8 isn't going to be that easy unless you somewhere down the line come at the top 4 or the top 5 position. But that again is going to be pretty chaotic when you have such circles. But now, where is the 5th circle going to go in? Oh, it goes in towards the bottom left, and that's where Slee Europe has a big advantage, but the spray comes in, and REGNUM CARYA this time punishes the side of Team NEXUS, who are just hiding in the bottom dip, and after that first knock, already the close-in is going to come in. Loxy is hungry and is thirsty. He wants the 14th blood as well into the feed, and the nade might do the job. What a grenade coming in, but the knock and the impact is not yet been there. The damage and the spam is coming through, and the final player will get taken down. Team NEXUS will have to await for the 9th spot with 6 total elimination. That's the only 6 point which they managed to get in the entire map of Erangel.
I think got out way too early, but eventually they had finishes. That's kind of good. But moving forward, if we're going Major Spite, that's again one of those advantages. Look at the guy, the player 2 of Major Spite. He had 5 amazing animations, which is kind of huge. Bright Exposed on the other corner is also trying to rotate, but they're getting elected. Elvis becomes the last one for the team, I believe. Okay, not the last one, but yes, one of those players which is actually on that edge, which might actually go for the revival for Coursera, but it won't be that easy. Kansas is already trying to push forward to that angle. He's coming up with a revival pretty soon. That revival can actually happen, and look at that. In this shack, they definitely have the hardcore cover. If we're talking about FLUX, he's first off, he's going to be the guy, but he's also getting enacted and also damaged a lot. But at the end, GAIMIN Gladiators is one of those teams I would have to see performing. What is happening? He walked right into the molly. He's burning, and that's exactly what I'm actually expecting at this point. And yes, that's exactly what happened. A complete shutdown to the team known as GAIMIN Gladiators. But what is happening to REGNUM CARYA? What have they decided in this particular matchup? Yes, they are going aggressive, and no doubt I'm actually way too impressed by seeing this kind of performance. But the only thing I'm still going to doubt is if REGNUM CARYA is going to secure this tournament or not, because the way they're performing, the way they're going to be a bit more visible in the lobby, some of the teams are actually going to put their crosses onto them after their own fight gets over, and whenever that happens, things can backfire, and that's exactly what happened. You can clearly see ARR finds one on REGNUM CARYA. The guy known as Softy has been taken down. Now with that kind of knockout, a Wild has been taken on. One of those heavy hitter for the team is already knocked out. But ARR Esports is also not going to commit fully, because they also know they don't have the right utils, they don't have the right vehicles, to be honest, because the vehicles are already in flame, they are on the edges, and pushing forward on a team like REGNUM CARYA is not going to be a fruitful decision, I believe.
Well, Slee Europe, I'm really, loving what I'm seeing right now. For the first time, Team Slee Esports managing to come at the top 7 with all 4 players alive. But this is where I'm really excited to see how they're going to continue their run. This is slowly, steadily going to be a very big disaster if you're Team RUYA Esports, because I don't think that, reviving is the most promising spot for Elvish. Elvish has to play his own game here. He has to play for the serve, he has to play the time, and make sure that even after coming to the top 6, he makes sure that more and more can get eliminated, and that's where he might find himself out fight. Now see, they're two getting eliminated. I think this is not out of the equation. There's yet another this time coming in towards the start of Europe, and now the next circle is what it all matters. Where is the next circle going to head over? Team ARR Esports closing down to this big warehouse which I was talking about, and this big warehouse is that one circle, is that one place in the entire Saverny zone which really helps you so much, and that's where Slee Europe has already found a big advantage. ARR now down to close in. Team RUYA Esports now have a time to close things down, and they are nading towards the warehouse. Stack could be a pretty safe option for them, but the backfire from Solki. Solki is the only one single player from FLUX, and he has been surviving since the last 10 minutes. He has been surviving since the last 6 teams who have came in, got eliminated, but this one solo player has just kept himself alive. I think it was Team Major Pride who just took down 3 of the players within a blink of an eye as the rotation phase were coming in, but with the only 17 players, let's see how promising could this map turn around for the start of Team FLUX.
Oh yeah, I mean rotating is going to be a big task for this particular guy, no doubt in that. And REGNUM CARYA is already setting up their crosses onto the player, so sole key for him to rotate and just completely be in the zone is going to be a very tough decision. At the same side, if we talk about REGNUM CARYA, look at them. 18 frags already is here. I believe this could be more than a 30-pointed bomber if they are able to get the chicken dinner. But I really believe at this point, the chicken dinner is going to get contributed from either SlyRip or indeed by ARA Esports or maybe by Major Pride as well. But let's see how far the situation goes on, because at this point, REGNUM CARYA is looking comfortable. They're getting the idea from multiple angles, no doubt in that, but still they're not trying to enact because they know they are on the edge. Overcommitment can actually be very costly for this particular team. So obviously they're trying to just calculate and get the idea right. Okay, one good play has been spotted, and that's a beautiful play from Roxy's perspective. One more big opening coming in, and with that opening, definitely I believe at this point, AR might actually go down. That particular player might actually get shut down. But Bandit finds one, and while 77k has been taken down with that knockout, definitely that aggressive stance that REGNUM CARYA had is now actually on the back foot.
Alright, Team REGNUM CARYA are going in for the revival, and I believe Team REGNUM CARYA has like 15 kills, I think. If they have 15 kills...
18.
Oh, they have 18 kills? Oh yeah. My god, that is unbelievable. 18 total kills for REGNUM CARYA. That's the highest we have ever seen so far here at the Ruthless Europe Invitationals. Since yesterday, the max was like 13, and that wasn't the promising one to get the winner chicken dinner. But this time, Team REGNUM CARYA, 3 players alive and not the best possible corner of the zone. They might get away with another knock. Oh, the sprays are looking beautiful. But what are these glitches? I mean, I think the door is surely being broken away, due to which the sprays have been landing up, but Loxy now has to fall back. He knows there's a next zone is going to come in within 30 seconds. So the earlier you are, the better it happens to be. But Slee Europe, that warehouse position couldn't have been more promising. They have been dominating all in 360 angle with that one sole position. And with that, I think so far, only one team who is still struggling to get in is going to be Major Pride. But the nade from the start of CARYA is going to take down Slay Europe. One player gets taken down. Their 4-man advantage is now going to be down to only 3. But that's not a knock finish yet. So they still have a room to give the revival. ARR versus Major Pride could be the up next fight, as they must spot themselves up quite soon. But now with only a few seconds remaining, the next circle actually shifts away from the start of Team REGNUM CARYA. And now Team REGNUM CARYA has to make a move. 15 players, 5 teams, and Team Slay Europe are the one who are the center of the circle.
Oh yeah, the control is still falling in the hands of Team SlyRip, but eventually they are going to get concentrated from multiple angles. So you can clearly see that Bryce versus Kiral is already in the close quarters. He can be the one backstabbing agent for the team. At the same side, if we talk about REGNUM CARYA, let's see how they're going to perform, because obviously the Euros has been summoned. They are trying to rotate, they're trying to have a comfortable angle at this point. ARR is also not going to mess around a lot, because ARR is aiming for the chicken dinner. Same goes for Major Pride as well. And Major Pride have already secured 7 amazing finishes, so they have an idea how they perform, how to get those finishes in this particular matchup. Oh, what is happening? Pentashi has been taken down. Okay, is it going to be a trade-like situation? Yeah, the trade comes in, and with that side, Europe is going to get their 3rd finishes, but this is going to give the time for REGNUM CARYA to push forward, and that's exactly what is happening. REGNUM CARYA is already pushed forward. There's a revival going on. Pentashi is going to be back in the game. That's interesting. Some more smokes have to be demanded at this point. I don't know if they have the smokes or not, but yes, if the smokes would have been there, it would have been a comfortable journey for Sly Europe. But look at that, Sly Europe are now going to become the center of attraction. Multiple teams are aiming onto them. I'm surprised to see Major Pride being cornered that much, but pretty soon they have to push forward. Pretty soon they have to take the advantage of this fight.
Major Pride have been like really disengaged with each and every fight going around. They wanted to play this game for the winner chicken dinner is what it seems to be the case, but this nade, oh, it was almost 2 kills for them, and that's what is the case. It's 2 kills with a single nade, and Slee Europe with only 1 man standing. It's going to be Medrin who has to do everything with his UMP45. That's not going to be enough. And Team ARR, Esports take down the entire team Slee Europe. They had the entire warehouse in their name, but that one nade is what it took to take them down. And with only 2 elimination, they got eliminated at the fourth spot. A very unfortunate position, but now is where you see Team REGNUM CARYA coming up to be on top. Can they really maintain that domination against Team ARR Esports? Because ARR has been unbelievably good. And Strix being on the top of this entire warehouse building, I think this could be so good. But this nade just walks right nice to him. There goes another knock. Maybe the second one would be good. But oh, Tron gets spotted up. He has to move back from this position. And oh, this is such a risky spot for him to be at. The damage does not land, but he gets taken down. Oh, he's going to be down towards the no man's land. And that's going to be Team REGNUM CARYA actually capitalizing. Maybe that's the 20th kill which they needed. Oh, ARR is actually going up for the revival. How ballsy play could that been? And he actually gets a knock with the DBS. Team ARR Esports are just unthinkable at this point. Almost thought that had to be the kill, but they gave the revival out of nowhere. DBS shot comes through, and now it's only going to be Tapok who will be all down in a 1 versus 1 scenario. It's a 1 versus 3, and Team Major Pride are surely working in with the winner chicken dinner, because that third party could have been well timed. Team REGNUM CARYA gets 21 kills. Okay. Can they get this 1 versus 2 club? The first nade is going to get the connection onto the side of Nomi. Perfect coming in from the side of Backlands, and Dino is still going to be in a fair distance. Loxi with the DBS. Could he be really good enough to take down the players? 21 kills is massive within its own self. But is it enough? Perfect gets a very good nade being tossed up, but I think he could really do the job here. He is going to go in for the nade. But actually it doesn't. And it's Loxi who falls as a victim of that nade. It's a 10 kill winner chicken dinner for the side of Major Pride.
But 27 points for the team, becoming the runner-up. 21 kills and 6 for the position points. That's what REGNUM CARYA is going to get. So no offense to the team which have actually secured the chicken run. Major Pride, you did a beautiful job of surviving till the end, of getting the advantage in the end rounds. That is absolutely huge. But yes, if we talk about a commendable job, indeed it was done from REGNUM CARYA's perspective as well. At 27 pointer coming in, and at the end, if we talk about the winner chicken run, well, that's definitely in the favor of the team known as Major Pride. And with that performance, Major Pride have made their way to the hashtag 6th position, which is actually quite good. 1459 is going to be the right amount of damage that they will dish out. In the phase number 1, day number 2, match number 8, to be precise, we had 20 points, 10 eliminations to be precise, coming from this particular team that is known as Major Pride. Indeed, a beautiful battle coming up from the particular corner. They were quite sneaky, if you guys remember. They were close to the 70 compounds, and then eventually they pushed forward to the open-ended double houses in the particular area. And from that particular perspective, they were not even pushing around. They were not even pushing around. They were not even trying to be in enemy territories. And after that, they had the right amount of utilities. They had the right idea. But still, Luxy had a beautiful approach, and he was able to take one player down. But eventually, if we talk about the damages and eliminations, Dino is the one fruitful guy.
Exactly. I mean, Team Major Pride, like, I didn't see them having a single knock. They had 8 kills when, you were seeing top 7 position, and they had not got a single fight against anyone. Even after 3 players surviving, it's really difficult. But Tron, man, this man is a beast within its own self with 1561 damage. I mean, that is unbelievable. 6 throwables, 7 eliminations, and 7 assists. I mean, that explains how 1500 damage could only bring you 7 eliminations, because the assists were really at the topest level. But Tron, what a player, and what a match for him and his team. Now I cannot wait to see how the overall numbers are going to look like in the overall standings. 3 matches are done. 2 more to go, out of which one is going to be Miramar, the other is going to be Wrangle. But 27 points for REGNUM CARYA. Losing it out at the hashtag 2 position, yet winning it all. Winner chicken dinner for the start of Team Major Pride, winning the winner chicken dinner and 10 eliminations with 20 points. ARR, they had such a big advantage, but I think the only thing which went wrong was Strix going down, they giving a revival out of no support, and then the third party nade which came in from the side of, Major Pride. But that was so well timed. Nexus played so good. 0 ranking point, but 6 elimination. FLUX had 1 single player bought all the 5th position out of what they're looking here. And Slee Europe, that's a big jump. I think finally Slee Europe will be in the position at the, I'll say where they don't have like 8 points. till this game, they only had a single digit point in the overall ranking. But now, finally, things are going to change. But Tron being the highest elimination, highest damage, highest assist, and also making highest knockout. So that is just him proving himself. To perk with the highest healing done from the side of Team ARR. But what a game it's been for REGNUM CARYA. And not to mention that the patience game from the side of Team Major's Pride was also really good.
Oh yeah, definitely. Quite a few teams had the approach, like a patient approach coming in, be it Team Bra or even FLUX as well. So I guess we did saw a lot of stuff coming in, but REGNUM CARYA after this performance is now going to maintain a buffer of 10 amazing points between themselves and ARR Resource, which was the former champion, or should I say former table topper of this particular overall ranking. At the end, if we talk about MADBULLS, they have actually been dethroned from the first position to the third one, where now the buffer is of 16 points between the Giants of REGNUM CARYA and MADBULLS. FLUX Esports on the hindsight, which started off quite well today. Initially, are now actually getting shattered around 62 points. MELISE Esports 57. That's huge. Major Pride 50 points to be precise. SBG, one of those teams which started off way too well in this whole event, is now after match 8 at the 7th position. I would be surprised to see this team at the second place, to be honest, because the way they're performing, the way they're getting connected every now and then, it's not at all looking good. Let's talk about the second page. We have got Gaming Gladiators right here with 38 points, which is kind of amazing. And if we talk about OZAROX Esports, they have got 35, 34 for the team known as NEXUS Gaming 33, 32. So it really shows that eventually even a single performance, single good chicken dinner from every Esports perspective can easily push them a lot to the, I guess, maybe 8th or 9th position. And actually can be the fruitful advantage for the team. At the hindsight, Sky Europe, despite of that much effort, they had just 6 points, I believe. And with those 6 points, from just 8 points in their favor in 8 matches, they are actually going to secure 14 points, which is, I guess, maybe good enough, because that could actually give them the small brief momentum, and that momentum can actually help them to get the next chicken dinners, which might be quite fruitful for them in the long run. But yeah, 7 more matches to go. 2 for today, 5 matches for tomorrow, and eventually tomorrow we'll get to see who are the top 3 teams along with an MVP. After a quick short break, we'll be back with the map of Irang 11. Yeah. Myanmar. Well, yeah, after a quick short break, indeed, we are back at Ruthless Europe Invitational. And eventually, at this point, if we talk about the whole phase and whole scenario coming up in this 8 amazing matches, it was quite a tipsy-turvy turn because finally, Regnum CARYA, after that amazing performance of 27 points in a single match, they have easily dethroned a lot of teams. Now, moving forward, initially, we had MADBULLS with 18 points, I believe, and then Gaming Gladiators came in with 19. Now, Major Spy in the match number 8 had 20 points, but all in all, match number 9 is going to come in. That is Miramar, and after that, we'll get to see our final map for the day. That will be Erangel. But pretty soon, things will change rapidly because, yes, after this comeback coming from Regnum's perspective, or maybe eventually if we talk about Major Sprite as well, they are also trying to perform quite well. They've already got their 6th position, I believe, so it's looking good for them. So, just because of that, I am going to pick Major Sprite for my prediction. I would love to see a chicken coming from Major Sprite perspective. And moving forward, if we talk about Akon, what do you think? What will be the prediction?
I think this time I'm going to go with the side of Team SBG. It's the only
Okay.
map where they don't get any drop clash. You know, like every other time you see Erangel, it's them versus, BESIKTAS Esports. I'm going to go with the side of SBG. And like, I think, this is going to be that one team which is going to be really interesting to watch out for. The French Pride, let's see how they're going to pan out. But so far, it's really been a big show, today. It's been like, all of those bottom teams, all of those teams struggling in the mid of the entire leaderboard, trying to make up at the top. And all the one at the top, which is Team FLUX, which is Team SBG, they are still not able to get their finest map. ARR is able to perform. ARR is still able to run for the top 3, but not the number 1 yet. The number 1 still belongs towards the sort of teams like Major Pride, these teams who have just came up on the top today. So I think, if that really continues, I think slowly, steadily, the number 1 gap is going to start to increase. And after what? Like yesterday, the number 1 team had like 54 points. The number 2 team had like 50 points. Now, by the end of the day, do we expect any team to go near the triple digit mark?
I do expect that can actually happen because including this particular matchup, match number 9, we do have 2 more matches to go. So really, Regnum CARYA could be one of those teams because they are pretty close to 86 points, I believe, and from that particular location, they can easily go ahead and slash up the triple digit point. This could be that particular team getting the century, or maybe ARR Esports, or maybe even MADBULLS can actually approach that. But moving forward, the flight path comes in, and it is actually going to be a very decent flight path that is starting from the northern regions and it is going towards the southeastern, I believe, flanks. So that's quite good. Okay, south flanks to be precise. Starting from Torre Amada goes to touch the across the valley, and then eventually we do have San Martin Hacienda as well. El Azhar is also pretty close. Graveyard, Minas, and also the Junkyard region is also quite close. Lavin is there. Los Unis is also there. Well, if the zone falls in the Los Angeles territory, it will be absolutely amazing because then we will see a lot of compounded fight. We might actually go for the 9th play zone as well. But all in all, it won't be that easy for teams which are actually jumping in maybe Il Pozo region or La Cobra region, which are actually trying to glide towards that region. Gaming Gladiators is already jumping and they are trying to approach La Cobra, I believe. If we talk about the team known as Excuse Me, we have a Furia, we have a Quick, we have a Black, and also with that we have a Blake in the scene. And every single guy from the team known as Excuse Me is also trying to be a bit more scattered and they are trying to loot. Few of them are trying to loot Torre Amada, few are trying to loot the Tiara Bunker region. But Tiara is also pretty close to them, so there could be a fight between that angle as well.
Exactly, and now as the circle completely is what we're going to be waiting for. But Slay Europe, I think, is going to compete up in a drop clash. Let's see, how this is eventually going to go. Some melee fights coming in. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. Slay Europe, they don't have the best of the weapons, and just right next to them, it's going to be none other than Bra Esports. And already the first player goes down towards the Desert Eagle, which comes in from the side of Slay Europe. Europe still maintaining the numbers advantage, but they are running around with no guns at the same time. Zone goes all the way towards the bottom zone, which means Los Leones, Chumachera, and these bottom Los Egos are going to be the one which is going to be the end circles. Meanwhile, it's going to be Plenchin who will be up with a Deagle, but a Winchester knock coming it onto the heads of FUT Esports from the knock that is going to come in, I believe, from Team SBG. And SBG with the Winchester get the first elimination. Slay Europe takes on another player. This time it's going to be Elvish. So now it all comes down to only 2 players. And these 2 players, let's see how they are going to eventually go on and get some retaliation. Falling back wouldn't be the worst case option for them, but is that the best case scenario which they could really ask for? Because only one player surviving in a map like Miramar is really going to be a really difficult spot, but all four players are just charging in with the vehicles, with these AKs, with these shotguns at the same time to get the final kills. Meantime, team SBG, oh, a good angle for the side of Victor. He has the double bullet barrel, shotgun, and the double barrel shotgun could really be a very promising one, especially if both the players just walk up to the crosshairs through the stairs. But SBG has not yet been faced off any casualty. The third player from the side of RUYA Esports also gets taken down. So now Team RUYA Esports are down to only one player. Meanwhile, Team 4 Esports up in a 4 versus 4 fight. The dog first did came in from the side of Kashi, but that wasn't well enough. The revival instantaneously came in. Kashi, meantime, with the lurk. Oh, he spots one, but he did not really reveal himself up, and that's going to be unfortunate. Like, he did not want to meant to reveal himself up, but now after that shot being missed away, this gives an advantage, the benefit of doubt towards Team 4 to fight up against Team SBG.
SPG and the other team which was actually there in the San Martin region. Yes, FAT Esports is also trying to come up with a confederation. You can clearly see both of those guys are actually having the S1987. Oh, Win 94 and that ledge that is there in the favor of Robs. I believe that is quite interesting. On the hindsight, we do have Sire on second trying to rotate. We have got the close up Ruiz. And there is nobody close to them, but they are actually quite close to the Los Angeles region. So that will be absolutely interesting to watch out how they are going to perform. The thing is, Akashi could be the X factor for the team. Okay, a beautiful pick coming in with the S686. That's quite good. Two good players have been taken down with that. Obviously, Team FAT is not going to be that comfortable when this play comes in with that challenging fight. FAT Skyros is about to get taken down. The last player standing on the edge is also going to survive. And that's it. Four amazing animations, out of which two were taken by Novalo, one for Victor, one for Akashi. That's a huge victory for SBG's perspective.
Oh wow, I mean, that's going to be a great start for them, and so far so good. One player just been knocked off, but I think he instantaneously is going to get revived at the same time. But what about the start of Team RUYA Esports is the question, right? Like, they have yet been in a very troublesome positions. I think slowly steadily the way situations were looking against them, back to back every other match they get inside this play, and the drop clash, the hard drop position is just going against them. For esports, they get eliminated. RUYA Esports surviving with only one. Slee Europe still having 3 kills on the back of them being at the 16th spot. It's going to be a place for really, where you want to contest to, and if they come somewhere at the top positions, they could really put for esports below them, but just above them, it's going to be Team excuse me, at the same time, who haven't yet got their best days possible. REGNUM CARYA is all the way towards number 1. That 28 points before this game, and that was just tremendous. They didn't want a winner chicken dinner, but yet getting 27 28 points is just massive. Alongside that, it's going to be ARR regaining that number 2, and then it's going to be MADBULLS at the 3rd position. This Miramar match is supposed to be one of those home grounds for a team like FLUX Esports, who has been out of the 3 Miramars which we have seen since yesterday, they have won 2 out of them. This is the last Miramar we're going to see in the day 2 of the Ruthless Europe Invitationals, and so far I think Team FLUX hasn't yet just made it into the end circles yet.
Yeah, I mean, FLUX Esports is one of those teams who are also in the map of Miramar. They're trying to be a bit more sneaky, just like what Major Spy did in the previous matchup. From initial battle to the end, FLUX is going to be a bit more of a sneaky team, and eventually after that, they are in the later stages, or should I say in the latest zone, to be honest, like 6 or 7 zone. At that point, eventually FLUX starts to pop out and starts to get the finishes in their favor. That's the exact thing that can actually happen, but ARR right now is actually out in the circle. Same goes for GAIMIN Gladiators, and I'm actually happy to see GAIMIN Gladiators, BESIKTAS, and also Major Spy performing the way they are performing. SPG, after those 4 amazing eliminations on the hindsight, is now going to have the advantage of having the 6th position, which is good, but how far they can stretch out this competition, that's a big thing. FAT Esports is one of those teams which was fighting their way to the top, but it was not that easy. Sly Europe, after getting 3 amazing eliminations, they have already secured 17 points, to be honest, but still, it's a long journey to go to the top 16 as well, or top 15 to be precise, because you can clearly see that there is a buffer of still a 13-pointer buffer is there between Sly Europe and FAT Esports. So in order to compromise and in order to snatch out the 15th position, Sly has to get a chicken, and I really believe that, and they are capable, no doubt in that, but some good shots are going to go, and this is, excuse me, trying to pick players from ARR, and yes, Elim has been picked off.
Excuse me, meantime takes away, I believe, ARR's player with an M762, which is going to be unfortunate as Alam gets taken down. Now it comes down to only 3 players, and with 3 players standing, Team ARR, they somehow have to make their way inside the circle, which is 2,400 meters far from them. And I think with that team, ARR, I think they don't have any vehicle close to them. They're so split within their own place, and they also lack in loot. There's a single Scar L and an S12K for the side of Pubg, and I think alongside them, let's see whether other players are going to be, hold it off. FLUX, they have all the 4 players all the way in the bottom or lost Igor's position. That's a pretty, safe spot if you ask me to be at. Let's see how slowly, steadily they're going to move on. Now the rotations are coming in. This time it's going to be the max bulls which are slow, bad bulls which are slowly, steadily taking a clockwise rotation. This lower circle have been really tremendous, but where will the next circle go on? Yesterday, I think Chumasharan lost Leonis were the 2 places which really came in, but it always was the bottom position, which gives a big advantage towards the side of teams like Fireflux and Team MADBULLS.
At the same time, there are multiple teams that are trying to rotate. You can clearly see now Trio guys there. We have Gaming Gladiators, we have Excuse Me. Also, Star Europe is also trying to rotate. So, multiple teams from the northern region are trying to rotate and be in the circle. Although it won't be that easy for sure, but yes, that's exactly what they have to do. MADBULLS on the hindsight have got Tiliga and players like that are also trying to perform a lot. If we talk about specifically BESIKTAS Esports, Gaming Gladiators, and SPG along with the ARR, with Nexus, and Excuse Me, these are the 6-7 teams which are pretty much outside the circle. I'm emphasizing the term outside the circle way too often because the thing is, while rotating, they can easily be gatekept. While rotating, they can easily be shut down. But I believe this is the second play zone, so there is not going to be that kind of concern. And after this particular play zone gets over, then third-party situations are going to be tremendous. Then we'll get to see a lot of players flying here and down, here and there. But at the same time, if we talk about Esports, Kiral is going to be the last man standing, which is quite upsetting for the fans of Esports because we do expect a lot of big play coming from the particular team. They are stuck at the 14th position. They just have 31 points, so they can easily be shut down at 31 points marker. And this is already giving the opportunity for Star Europe. Trust me, if Star Europe is able to get that kind of jump in the leaderboard, that would be absolutely mesmerizing because there is not a lot of buffer between the 9th position and 14th position. We can clearly see like just a difference of 7 points. That's all.
Exactly, but still the job hasn't yet been done. And slowly, steadily now as the zone closes down in, Team REGNUM CARYA find themselves in towards a very comfortable position, but Team RR are yet struggling themselves in to get towards the center of the positions. MADBULL meantime having the best position alongside team, like none other than Fireflux, so I think they just have to play the time here. Major Pride also get themselves in, REGNUM CARYA versus team. And other than Oxygen is going to be one of the teams to really watch out for. Team RUTHLESS Esports, they get the first point of contact. They get the first shot indeed toward impact. But Team REGNUM CARYA are now going to be in a tough spot for them to put a revival. Luxy was down to a very low HP, but he too is going to get revived in. It comes down to Wild and Tron to give any hopes for the 4th fallen player to give a revival, but from the backlines, Kenzie might also take him down. He's in the back of the cover of the pickup truck, and the 1-taps are also coming in. So I think that's a player being lost and forgotten, and team, REGNUM CARYA somehow have to make sure that they play this game all along with only 3 players. Losing out a numbers disadvantage at this early point isn't one of the worst case for you, especially knowing that there are still 3 players surviving, but at the same time, it's going to be Team BESIKTAS Esports who gets taken down, and it's going to be none other than NEXUS who are going to be capitalizing on that.
Yeah, I mean, Nexus was actually quite good while they were trying to aggress, while they were trying to get the opportunities. But I'm looking forward to see where the third play zone is going to go. Oh, another shift coming in. 45% of the play area is already unplayable because that is in the water body. I am actually looking forward to see how the whole situation goes on. But Nexus's doctrine has been taken down. That's an upsetting thing for this particular team. I believe the whole elimination could actually come in. But Sly, they are not stopping. They're trying to punch back the players known as Nexus's. Octavia has been taken down. And 2 good plays from teams like Esports are already low, and it's actually one of them, a Mandarin to be precise, have already been taken down. 4 amazing finishes. They are looking forward to get their 5th finish to be precise as well. Because yes, the player was quite close. Okay, in order to go ahead and get the finishes done, the player is already jumping outside the particular play circle. This is the kind of anticipation that we are expecting at this point. BESIKTAS Esports also outside the circle is also trying to trade up and get as many as opportunities as possible. At the same time, I don't think so. Slido should overcome it at this point because they're looking good. They're looking confident. They should easily just go ahead and keep on getting those points, keep on surviving till the end. 14 were the number of points that they earlier had, and right now in just a single matchup in this match number 9, they've already secured 7 more points. So that's a huge sum up of 21 points if I'm not wrong. So at this point, yes, the particular team Europe is looking good. All they need now is a very good chicken dinner. If the chicken dinner comes in, it will be absolutely mesmerizing, as absolutely eye-pleasing to see one of those teams which was struggling a lot in the initial 7 matches, trying to conquer, and right now they're conquering the battle.
Well, the third zone is now closing in, and with that, Team Lee Europe, just look how far they are from the end circles. Meantime, if you take a look after what's in for the start of none other than OZAROX Esports, they have a good center of attention. After losing out that first player, they got that instant revival. Team MELISE has yet been in a very troublesome position. The Turkish Pride once again, which is going to be none other than REGNUM CARYA, up towards the number 1 position. But Team FLUX and MELISE still not in the best spot today. We haven't yet seen the form which we saw from yesterday. Same goes for the start of Team RUYA. Team RUYA, I think yesterday came up with one of the most funnest clutch from the start of Frozen, and they were like really loving to play with the DBS, but now the DBS is just not been something which we are, totally been depended on. Some shots been turned out from the start of Frozen's mini, but that's going to be all for nothing, and SBG just right next to them in their crosshairs are getting pinned down, but I don't think that these mid-range fights are going to be troublesome to any one of these teams. They might get some knock, but not the finish, cause instantly the backup would arrive in, but you might not want to damage your entire helmet and vest in before the end zone fights even starts.
I mean, if the end zone fights are going to get initiated, I mean, at that point, a lot of trouble is going to rise. Reflect already gets taken down by Kissu from MELISE Esports. That's interesting. So yeah, the picks are coming in. MADBULLS on the hindsight is also trying to survive, also trying to get those amazing picks in their favor. I would love to see how far the competition gets evolved when it comes to Nature's Pride as well, because they're also pretty close to the last man standing from PRIZEPOOL. That's interesting. Again, another good shot. Becca 77 has been taken down due to a zone hard shift. And we are left with 13 teams and 46 players. So things have changed rapidly. 39 seconds to be precise are left at the end. So we are about to see a very big shot coming up pretty soon. But before that, SBG already gets connected. Okay, when his Esports drops down, this is the opportunity that we were seeking for. And he peaks. Will he be able to get one pick? I really love that. Okay, he fails to do that. One good player has been once again picked off, and that's ARR's Pubg who has been taken down. Finally, it's done. ARR gets eliminated at 13th position, not even a single position points, and also no eliminations whatsoever. MELISE Esports was looking comfortable with that. Sky Esports now is trying to rotate. Sky Europe, to be precise, is the name. They're trying to rotate, they're trying to turn back the angles in their favor, but Sky Europe, the way they were fighting, the way they were surviving, it was a very I guess heartwarming type of battle coming in, because they had 7 amazing finishes. Now BESIKTAS is also having tough time. Creator on CEO on the other corner has been taken down. Sean HP has been picked off. Not just that, CEO has been completely finished off. P7 also gets picked off. With that, BESIKTAS Esports have also been eliminated by REGNUM CARYA. Well guys, remember, this is the exact team which has to go down in order to change the pace of the momentum, but that need was actually acquired on point. Now, Tron is going to get finished off, and remember guys, Tron was the overall highest fragger in the previous matchup for REGNUM CARYA. Now Tron is done and dusted. One more player from REGNUM CARYA is done and dusted. So I believe this is not going to be a long battle, but still 89 points is more than enough to actually just maintain and be on top.
Meantime, Team Major Pride gets a knock onto the start of Lee Europe, and Team SLV is just going to be down to like 3 players. The revival has to come. In the meantime, Team MADBULLS is going to take down Prusa from the start of Team MELISE. And MELISE Lewis also gets down. So that's another squad being eliminated at the 12th, if I'm not wrong. Team MELISE survives with only 1 single player. And with only 1 single player, let's see how long could he survive with. Team FLUX has the 4-man advantage, and that 1 single player has to do a lot of jobs, especially with 36 players surviving. It ain't gonna be an easy job, but Reflex gets spotted up. Luckily doesn't shots any bullet onto him, but that one bullet also reveals his position, and this play still comes through from the side of Major Pride. Now slowly, steadily, as he walks back to heal himself up. Let's see if that could be a promising one, but the promising one is the nade from the side of Matic, as he takes down Slee, and that's another nade. This time it's going to be Dixie who falls victim of the nade from Matic, and Matic is just being the man with the golden hand, especially when it comes to these grenades. And slowly, steadily, as he walks up closer, team Major Pride looking to confirm their first initial defeat. They haven't yet got the first finish in their name. They're still up with like 0 kills so far in this entire match of Miramar. But hey, this is going to be 6th finish for the side of none other than GAIMIN Gladiators. And now Major Pride finally confirming the kill onto the side of Reflex. That's the first one. Let's see how many more comes in their way.
Well, I'm actually surprised to see Sly performing the way they are right now, because obviously after 7 amazing finishes, they had the complete control. But slowly but surely, while rotating in the play area, while rotating in the zone, you can clearly see there was a lot of trouble for them, and eventually they struggled a lot. At the hindsight, after 2 good eliminations, Tron and Zelicon has been picked off, while 77k is there. Loxy is actually going to be there. 4 amazing eliminations for this particular team, and they are still trying to move forward. They are still trying to have the advantage of this particular fight. Well, it's not going to be easy for sure, but eventually look at the particular play zone. It is now getting away from the water body area, and it is a bit more concentrated onto the landmass area, where yes, the fights are going to come in. Elimination once again comes in for Sly Europe at the 10th position with 7 eliminations. That is kind of a decent game coming in, but I really wanted to see a chicken dinner. That could have happened. Then the buffer between Sly, Foot, and also PRIZEPOOL, along with Excuse Me, could have been countered. GAIMIN Gladiators are still not going to let him do that easily. They are also trying to hunt down quite a few players. They have got 7 amazing eliminations. They are looking for more. OZAROX on the other corner just is getting diminished a lot, because yes, yesterday they were good, but today they are unable to just survive in the game.
Exactly, and now once again, as slowly, steadily the zone closes in towards the 5th circle, I think 6th circle shouldn't have been much of an issue. The teams could really close down towards these centers, but now there comes in the side of OZAROX Esports on the top of these mountains. And just right next to them, it's going to be Team SBG. Meantime, the Mini 14 action is going to be a pretty devastating one for the side of Team Major Pride. As now the knock comes through, Team Major Pride, I don't think they have any troubles when it comes down to the revival. The nade is so wholesome, as Wallow is going to be down to what, like 40 HP? There goes another nade. Wallow just barely stays away from it. Double nade once again coming in. Team S8 really needs to make sure that SBG somewhere down the line goes away with it, and Team NR, which is going to be none other than NEXUS RUYA, are just watching out these entire fights. Yet not looking to initiate entirely in, because they know for a fact that 90 seconds and the zone is closing in. But there comes a third party from FLUX, and it's going to be RoboZopin who gets taken down with an M4. I think it's going to be a foreign player, and now Team SVG barely could be able to survive with 4 man. Sulky is going to get the kill confirmed, and that's going to be Team SVG down to only 3 players.
Oh yeah, once again the losses are coming in for sure. OZAROX versus Swan has been taken down. He's not going to survive. FLUX is slowly but surely trying to pick up a notch in this particular fight. That's exactly what they usually do in the map of Miramar, trying to be invisible in the initial circles. And after that, later in the later stages, where all the other teams are already tagged up, FLUX all of a sudden comes in, sweeps around and gets a chicken dinner. That's exactly what they're trying to go for. But at the same time, I would love to see how not RUYA is going to perform, because they have got the 4-man power. OZAROX is still surviving. Major Pride is still surviving. If I talk about GAIMIN Gladiators, they are still surviving. SBG on the hindsight is also surviving with the 4-man finishes, which is quite good. MELISE Esports with just a single player and 2 eliminations is also looking quite decent. I believe 64 points for FLUX, and they are still moving forward. They are still trying to hunt down a lot of players. But SBG, how they are going to perform, that's the big question, because in the left-hand edge, they have not RUYA, and on the right area, they have OZAROX Esports. So that team is also pretty much on a very sandwich situation.
Exactly, but let's see how the end circle eventually pans out for these teams, because this is a very difficult area to play with. You know, Team NEXUS RUYA, meantime, just tosses up the nade, and Kashi. Let's see if he could really walk away. The nade just lands in his face, and that's going to be Kashi as well being taken down. Now Victor and Wallow are the only 2 players, and as the close down comes in from the side of NEXUS RUYA, SBG has already chosen to fall back. They want to play the safe game here. They're taking a good corner, but the nade once again lands just in the face of Wallow as he gets almost taken down. NEXUS RUYA are closing the distance in. The spot on Kashi, but the smoke is going to give some cover towards Victor to get some spam. Wolfie falls down here. It's going to be a difficult one. It's a 2 versus 4 scenario, and slowly, steadily, as the slowdown is coming in. Next, RUYA is going to be the one who will get the first advantage, but the numbers advantage now still falls into the hand of next RUYA. And with the final player being spotted up one, he just misses it, but the backup arises in the same time. And as Veji, who get eliminated down the 9th spot, such an unfortunate position. Storm from the side of none other than OZAROX Esports are still surviving. Meanwhile, GAIMIN Gladiators are coming in from the back lines to see if they could get any advantage with the third party. Storm takes a good, easy exit from the fight, and with that, we are down to only 7 teams.
7 teams, 23 players. That's what we have. Okay, let me correct. 22 players to be precise. So yeah, the players are falling short. Nursery on the other corner is already having a very beautiful advantage out of this particular fight. If we talk about GAIMIN Gladiators, they're also off to a very good start. 7 amazing finishes is not that easy to be honest, but Matic, look at him. 6 amazing blows. FF Soulless on the other corner also gets taken down. That means FLUX Esports is now going to have a tough time reviving their own teammate, and eventually after that the push has to be with their MADBULLS is also there. Major Sprite is also trying to push forward, and now Major Sprite is actually in a battle between 2 big giants, and that is REGNUM, CARYA, if I'm not wrong. So yes, some more plays are going to be there. A sandwich situation coming into the play. I would love to see how MADBULLS is going to perform with that, because Zerish is obviously trying to perform, he's obviously trying to get the advantage out of it. We have got Flyky in the scene, we have got Tavika in the scene, we have got Zerish in the scene, and all with that, Frozen is also there. Right, rotations are actually the crucial pick for the advantage areas, but Major Sprite is rotating with a single UAs. That was a very risky SUV was a very risky pick for them. But Frozen finds a beautiful knockout, and that's Nomi who has been taken down with the beautiful Molly coming from MADBULLS. With their 5 amazing animations for them, MADBULLS have got the domination factor, but Effect also gets taken down from Mother's side. From Major side, once again a big blow has been there. Rude is also there on the back end, but Effect has been completely shut down. That team who wanted to be sneaky is not sneaky anymore, because they are getting picked off bit by bit.
Well, slowly, steadily, now there comes the final fight. There comes the final zone in the map of Miramar, and next RUYA. They have to walk up towards this entire advantage, but Wolf, meantime, gets taken down towards Kitsune. And I think next RUYA, they have to climb up the entire, reach. But is it going to be an easy one is a big question. Meanwhile, Kitsune is going to toss a nade. Attic goes on for the close, and him closing the distance towards next RUYA still gives next RUYA a big advantage. They might be down to the numbers disadvantage. All the players are so down, but look after the circle. The circle is going to be a bit devastating one, and Matic's nade is going to find another one. Now it comes down to only 2 players. Matic and Mekyu is really slightly closing in. The revival onto the start of Wolf isn't coming in, but Wolf is giving each and every instruction to his team. He is giving the call out. Prezi is going to come in with a nade, and Matic goes in too deep. Oh my god, this could be a bad one. Matic is going in all by himself. The nade is going to come in, but Matic somewhere down the line is lucky to survive. The DBS comes in. Team next RUYA getting the taste of their own medicine, and it's them being down to only 1 single player giving the revival. And Team GAIMIN Gladiator yet being just unstoppable after getting 10 kills.
Not just 10, I believe 12 amazing finishes already here. Next year is completely shut down. Look at that, Matic has secured 7 amazing frags. That's huge. Kitsune with just 1, and the same goes for QQQ as well. So that's kind of interesting. And yeah, there we go. One good play from GAIMIN Gladiators perspective, whose name is Miku, has been taken down. The revival has to be concerned. The revival has to be very important. At the same time, we have REGNUM Kura also getting taken down. They are also getting printed off. Loxy has been picked off by Kilsuno's perspective. Now the last man standing is actually going to be on the back foot. After Tixie's demise, definitely the team known as GAIMIN Gladiators is now going to be on the back foot. I would love to see how MELISE is also going to perform, because there is just a single player which is surviving from MELISE's perspective, and that's what I usually love from MELISE's corner, that even though the last man standing is player, they are actually going to catch and snatch out as many position points as possible. Self-surviving is not going to be that easy for sure, but MADBULLS is also trying to push forward. We have GAIMIN Gladiators trying to wait for the right moment. Team goes for Major Sprite as well, but we remember last man standing is here, and with that Thompson's play coming to the play, the guy known as the guy who was coming from Major Sprite is already getting shut down, and finally it's Major Sprite who has been totally eliminated. The whole team has been shut down. Now moving forward, we have GAIMIN Gladiators, Kitsune with 2 amazing frags, as I said. Matic has got 7. But same can't be said for a team like MADBULLS, because they were a little bit on the passive corner. They didn't have that many finishes. Same goes for FLUX as well. They were trying to be a bit more opportunistic. If I talk about REGNUM Kura, 4 amazing finishes for them, and the last player is still surviving.
Well, with that, it's going to be one final play, one final chance. A Team REGNUM CARYA. They get the first advantage. They take down Frozen, but REGNUM CARYA instantly get traded. And MADBULLS is the one to come up on top. Team FLUX is running in to get these kills. But Team MADBULLS do realize that now is the not right option for them to go on for the revival. And MELISE's need is going to take down yet another player. Now Team MADBULLS are down to only 2 players. And these 2 players, let's see how promising could it be. The retaliation dust comes in. And it's the first player from the side of GAIMIN GLADIATORS who gets taken down. Slowly taking 5 FLUX are closing down the distance, but now Matic does a big disadvantage to himself, but just overcommitting towards the fight. Mickey is gonna get revived in. 5 FLUX knows that there is a big, like a movement happening just right next to them with 7 total kills. Team 5 FLUX, the kings of Miramar, are right back towards their own game, and they look conquer this game with their own bit of a chicken dinner, but that's not going to be an easy task. It's a 2 versus 2 versus 4 scenario, and this could go wrong in anyone's hand at any which time. Kitsune with the first nade, not any contact. Soulless gets meanwhile a little damage. Where is Team MADBULLS is a big question, because right in the bottom side, Team GAIMIN GLADIATORS entirely have the zone, and right up it's going to be none other than 5 FLUX, but these nades, it's the last nade. Can Kitsune make it count? On the right side, you can see the side of Team MADBULLS. And Team MADBULLS, they have the entire compound. The open positions are in from the start of 5 FLUX, and they go in for a risky move. They're going in to take the vehicle to move inside the zone. I think both of the players could really be in a very devastating position, but they close down towards the start of Team MADBULLS. And now it's a 2 versus 4 scenario. He's still up in a good spot, but Fleet might really get himself up if he doesn't tosses his nade at the right time. I think this could be a bad spot, but the nade is just going to take himself up. Cage's nade takes down another one. The trade does come through, but it's going to be Flake all by himself. 1 versus 3. UMP 45 is on, and he gets the first one. Goes on for an instant trade, but the backup arises from the side of GAIMIN GLADIATORS, and Team 5 FLUX are down to only 2 players. It's going to be a 2 versus 2, and Team GAIMIN GLADIATORS with 16 total kills and make it 17. Can they manage to claw their way back in towards the winner chicken dinner just under the nose of 5 FLUX? This is going to be an interesting one, but Solky wins the fight against Mikyu. That's the fight which they needed, and now in a 1 versus 2, I think Team GAIMIN GLADIATOR, it's going to be a tough one for them to win.
Oh yeah, at this point, definitely GAIMIN GLADIATORS is actually having a troublesome situation, but still, 17 amazing frags, that's huge to be honest, and if they get the chicken dinner, they are going to rival the other team in the previous matchup that we saw, that was REGNUM CARYA, because they had 27 points altogether. If that chicken dinner comes in, it will be absolutely mesmerizing, but yes, as you said, Mikyu is not going to get revival anytime soon, and Kitsune has to come up with a 1v2, which I really doubt can happen. FLUX Esports might actually get this chicken dinner, and if that happens, it will be absolutely amazing as well, but I would love to see how Soulless and the other guy is actually going to perform, because we do have Soulkey also trying to come up with a beautiful angle. Finally gets spotted, and Kitsune was able to get shattered. A beautiful headshot, and with that, FLUX Esports definitely have the advantage right now. So yeah, it can be deciphered now that FLUX is the most aggressive, or should I say most opportunistic team when it comes to the map of Miramar, because they had their 3rd chicken dinner altogether, and that too in the map of Miramar.
Oh my god, I mean, this is complete clean chaos when it comes to Miramar. 4th Miramar in the Ruthless Europe Invitational, and that's the 3rd time Team FLUX managed to win it. I mean, that is incredible for the side of Team FLUX, and they once again, just continue their winning streak with 10 total elimination point. That's a 20 points of winner chicken dinner when they get. That's just incredible. They move all the way up towards the #3 position, which means that still Team REGNUM CARYA being on the top alongside Team ARR. We're talking about the individual brilliance. It's an 800 damage from the side of Soulkey. Catch with 749, loot from 553. And Soulless with 276 total damage. When it comes to elimination, the highest elimination comes in from the side of Catch, and that is going to be Soulkey with 4. Loots with 1, as Soulless with 0, but I mean, the damage taken, just look after Catch. Like, it's the highest which you could really expect. Because they have been, back and back again, going in for those individual fights, the nades, the grenade, it was all a util game in the end. The way the utility, the way the grenades were being used, just so beautiful. But the teams to watch out, definitely Team GAIMIN GLADIATORS. I think they had a very big run. They had completely down to the top 2 position, but in the end, it wasn't just enough. If that Soulkey fight would have been at least one from them, I think this would have been something to talk about. But the team from Turkish, which is going to be Team FLUX, wins said, a distance of 6,169 meters being traveled up, and the zone was also completely chaotic going all the way towards the southern sides.
Oh yeah, the chaos was there for sure. Indeed, at this point, if we talk about Miku, he is going to become the MVP because he had the 4 amazing animations. Animation, if we talk about damage, that is 1022. Globals used with 3 assists as well. But yes, I'm actually impressed to see Gaming Gladiators performing the way they were able to perform because that's a 23-pointer bomber that was delivered from the corner as well. But at the end, yes, things can change rapidly for this team as well. That's exactly what happened. They were unable to get the chicken in advantage because if that could have happened, they could have easily secured more than like 28 points or maybe even 29 points in the river, and that could actually uplift their positioning a lot. But still, 23 points is kind of decent. But let's go to the match ranking. 23 points definitely is going to be Gaming Gladiators. Despite of not having the chicken dinner, this team is going to have the first position in the match was standing due to their amount of finishers. You can clearly see FLUX is stuck at the second position with the chicken dinner in their favor. Total 10 for the ranks, 10 for the eliminations. If we talk about MADBULLS, they've got 13. REGNUM CARYA with 8 points. Europe with 7. Not RUYA with 5 points. MELISE with 5 as well. SPG with 4. MP with 2 points. OZAROX with 2 points. NEXUS and no excuses along with the PRIZEPOOL had 1 point each. FUT, ARR and BESIKTAS esports all went out way too early and were not even able to secure even a single point.
Crazy stuff happening right there, because Team Gaming Gladiators, even after being at the second spot, the 17 elimination brings them up with the 23 points. And now let's take a look after the match starts at 11,595. That is some number to be talked about, and that is what is going to be the total healings in the entire game. 330 longest elimination distance from the start of Soul Key, 21 rescues, 172 throwers being used, 3 airdrop beans looted, 66 knockout and 61 total elimination. But with that, let's take a look after how overall standing is currently going to look like. I think we might get some team reaching out towards the century, moving on towards the triple digit mark, crossing the 100 position, and I think if I'm not wrong, it has to be REGNUM CARYA by the next game.
Yeah.
94 point is already up from the start of REGNUM CARYA, and the team beneath them, it's all the way buffer of 11 points. It's going to be MADBULLS at 83, 82 for the start of 5 FLUX, who just entered the top 3 right now. Team ERR Esports will be down at the 4th, MELISE is at 5th, and Team SBG, who are all the way at the top 2 position, are now down to the 7th. Gaming Gladiators also come in. Major Pride are going to go down towards the 8th spot. And I mean, that is just incredible stuff. Let's take a look after what the next slide has to show us in the bottom 8 position in the next page. Because I believe Team Gaming Gladiators were at 9 to 10. And after this win, that's where they got, the 6th position. That's the 23 points which they got in this one map. And Team BESIKTAS Esports, they went down. I think next RUYA came a little up. But at the same time, OZAROX Esports, not the best of the games. And if you look after the points table, most of the team from 9 to 15th are so closely in their 30s and, early 40s.
Oh yeah, I mean, the exchange was absolutely amazing, no doubt in that. But moving forward, yes, Europe is coming up close to FAT Esports and BRA as well. So I really believe at this point that one single chicken dinner can easily change the glorified situation of the Europe. Although things are slipping away. Remember, guys, only the top 3 teams are going to get cherished with the prize pool. And if we talk about the MVP, he's also going to get $100 as well. So that's a decent thing to be precise. But yes, all in all, a beautiful competition coming from Gaming Gladiators perspective. And 5 FLUX, yes, they have maintained their legacy. They are trying to get some good points, although the match number 7, I believe, was out of their hands. But yes, match number 9 was quite fruitful for them. Now, moving forward, we are going to take a short break, and after that, we'll be back to see what happens in the last and the final map for the day.
Welcome back to the final match of the day here at the Ruthless Europe Invitationals. So far, it's been an houseful for most of the teams here who have been really a new map, a new team coming up on top to win a chicken dinner. But finally, as we move day up towards the final game, it's going to be the final match of Erangel. The last match of the day indeed, and let's see which team is going to be the one who will manage to come up on top. It's going to be not an easy task, but let's take a look out of the schedule that which teams won their respective matches. I think the first team to come up on top was none other than Team MADBULLS. Then we had none other than our very own team, GAIMIN Gladiators. Then it was Team Major Pride, now Team FLUX just owning the map of Miramar. Now as we fall on to the final game of Erangel, it's not going to be an easy task, but I think it's entertaining. It's going to be indeed an entertaining one.
Oh yeah, definitely. We have to see how how these particular teams, or should I say, 16 teams, 64 players are going to sum up the day, because obviously the way they're going to sum up the day is obviously going to enact in the way how they're going to start the last final day, the day of judgment, where we'll get to see the top 3 teams along with the MVP is also going to come in. So for me, I really believe this particular match is going to be quite filled with the thrills and the excitement, to be honest. We still have not seen anything coming up in the Pubg region, and also the military base is also quite vacated. So I would love to see a fight coming up in that region. Other than that, yes, the expectations right now are way too high, because yes, REGNUM CARYA, the way they are performing, and eventually we talk about Tiara, they are falling short of breath. MADBULLS is again snatching up their position. Along with that, FLUX has also raked up some serious points in their favor. Yes, things are changing quite rapidly, but let's see how far the things are going to get pushed, because it won't be that easy if the points are not going to be comfortable, if the finishes are not going to be comfortable. But yes, moving forward, when it comes to the predictions, I would like to go for MELISE Esports. Yeah, for me, MELISE.
Okay, I definitely want to go with the startup team, REGNUM CARYA. I think it's definitely, one of the time a team REGNUM CARYA has to give that one final, hit to push themselves in the triple digit. Team REGNUM CARYA is being the number 1 team right now in the overall standings, and just beneath them with a little buffer of 11 points, it's none other than Team ERR. So let's see if Team REGNUM CARYA would be able to be indeed the first team win these amazing winner chicken dinners in a map like Erangel, and also be the first team to enter the triple digit mark. So far, they are 6 points away from 100 mark, and I think with already having 94 points, the confidence has to be all-time high. But now as we move on to the final game for final map of Erangel, let us know your predictions as well, guys, in the chat section, because I think there have been, fans, there have been many of the people supporting their region specifically. Like we have seen some of the, fans from the side of Turkish wanting that Turkish team don't just end up fighting up against each other. But that is something which, is really difficult, especially when you're in such a kind of a competitive lobby. But which team are you going to be supporting in? Let us know in the chat section. Meantime, we are surely going to go in and see what the flight path and the circle is going to eventually look like. So far, we haven't yet seen any sort of military base circle. The closest we got was the Milta base. But now as the match is going to be started up just within few seconds down the line, I'm really going to be indeed waiting to see that which team is going to be here surprising us in the final game here at the Day 2 Ruthless Europe Invitationals.
So yeah, I definitely have to see which particular team is going to have the advantage of the match number 10. Oh, obviously, I believe the advantage is actually going to uplift a lot of spirits, but then again, will they be able to maintain that momentum in the tomorrow's matchup is actually going to be the big case, because after 20 years or so, we are going to once again witness the clashes coming up on the Judgment Day. But all in all, this is the one final map for the day, 5 more seconds to go, and after that you'll get to see the final flight path of this particular map of Erangel. I would love to see a lot of shifts coming up in this particular matchup as well, a lot of clashes as well. But yeah, flight path is once again starting from the Georgia Pool Northwest City. It is touching the 70 region. Oh, sorry, the Jalgi region, and it is going towards like the 6,000, and then eventually touching up some more places like Pubg is there, military bases also there. I would love to see a military base zone coming in. Nowhere Play is also considered. Milta is also a little bit close, I believe. Play can actually jump in on Nowhere's bridge and then eventually go for Milta. If I talk about Rosok region or school region, it is again going to be a bit more close. But I am thrilled to see what will happen to Yasna Polyana's location, because we guys remember Yasna Polyana is one of those locations where every now and then there is going to be a clash between SDG and MELISE Esports. So BESIKTAS to be precise. So I would love to see how that particular clash is going to be there, because obviously it's a bit too far away, and in order to reach out to that location, players have to rotate for 3.5 kilometers. This is not an easy distance to travel with without a gun or without any limitations.
Surely, but let's see how things eventually go on. I think the teams wanting to go towards Yasiana is BG alongside Versus. This is also going to be in a tough spot. Excuse me, and FLUX for yet another time. I'm going to fight up for the same spot, and this time it's going to be the nade of Team Excuse Me who takes down the players. Team FLUX are down to only 2 players. Oh my god, this doesn't look so good. One, I think this is something which is really concerning Team FLUX as they are now left with only one can look after the play zone. A totally eastern shifted play zone all the way going in towards the side of Lipovka, Milta Shelter, Mansion and Milta Power. But is it gonna be enough? I mean, Team FLUX, it all comes down to loot. And him having only the UMP, that's not gonna be enough. Loot finds the first one and gets down instantaneously onto the Scarel of Havlik. They do lose 2 players there, but they at least managed to get 4 kills indeed. Meantime, if we talk about the side of Team MELISE Esports, now they're going to be moving in with the motor vehicle. A Team Gaming Gladiators get spotted, but the shots aren't yet promising with GP. And it's not the shot or the spray, but it's indeed the damage, which is so being nerfed up with the DP28. Nonetheless, the melee weapon kill comes in on the side of Major Pride, and they too fall down to only 3 players now.
3 players left, and definitely the pressure is rising for this team as well. And let's see how far they're going to go, because SBG, even after losing quite a few players, they can actually push back, and that's exactly what we saw in the initial battles of this particular phase 1. But slowly but surely, there are some other teams which are trying to pick up the pace, and that is BESIKTAS Esports, which is again surprising the team known as SPG. Although there is not a lot of loss of bloodshed at this point. But seriously, at SBG's perspective, they don't have that many guns. If you can clearly see, that's a Honey Badger, I believe, and along with that, we have an S1987. So those 2 guns are good enough, but is it going to be enough for the players to come to shut down the enemy? That's a big thing. Oh, a beautiful spray coming to the play, and that's it. 1v1, and eventually it was a beautiful bait game coming in from Nawala's perspective, and he was able to get the situation out of it. Again, retaliation is there. S1987 is not going to be that fruitful. Okay, one more spray. That was a fruitful one. And finally, this could bait. SPG is about to get shaken down. And yeah, it's done and dusted by BESIKTAS Esports. A 1v3 coming from Enjoy's perspective.
Well, meantime, SVG are going to be the one who, for the 3rd time in the day, get eliminated from the side of BESIKTAS Esports. I think yesterday it was SVG's day when it comes to these early fights. Now it's been totally the day of BESIKTAS who won each and every time whenever they get into any sort of early brawl. For esports, meantime, getting back towards prison, mention, and I believe, the shelter area where they can entirely get themselves them loot. And I don't think there's any team who would really put them in the troublesome position. So I think Team Foot is well good enough to conquer the entire mansion, prison, and shelter position. Milta is going to be up from the side of MELISE, and just right next to them, Slee, who have to be towards Lipovka Milta Power. They are towards the eastern side of Milta region. You can see the side of Penching, who is just quite close. 7 is going to loot up the entire caves in the bottom of shelter. And let's see what loot looks like for him. I don't think he has got any sort of assault rifle yet. Level 2 vest, level 1 helmet, not the most promising one. Might be some pistols or a grenade, but he isn't choosing to, fill his bag with those junks. Rookie 99, meantime, going the long distance, wanting to move all the way towards the nearest location of Lvovka. SLR into the hands of Reflex. So, like most of the teams here in the early minutes, haven't yet got the most delightful loot possible.
The minutes are passing. The attacking formation is coming in for sure. 14 teams, 52 players. That's what we have. If we're talking about FLUX Esports, went out way too early. Yes, indeed, in the previous matchup, they had the complete advantage of getting a beautiful chicken dinner. But seems like that in this particular matchup, they were unable to find their own firm grasp. Yes, they had 2 finishes, but is it enough? Well, not at all, because yes, you can clearly see MADBULLS is also pretty close to that statistics. They have got 83 points. Not just that, ARR is also trying to snatch up the particular positions, because ARR can easily go ahead and get more than 8 points, like 9 or 8 points, so that they can actually be in the top 3. And eventually, if you are ending the day number 2 at the top 3 positions, you might actually start off the day with some decent points and some decent strategies as well. At the same time, I would actually talk about Rise Force, which are again trying to rotate. This is again one of those amazing compounds in which the fights went on way too eagerly. The previous battle, if you guys remember, in the first match, it was BESIKTAS Esports trying to come up with some good fights against Major Sprite and stuff like that. But moving forward, I would love to see how Major Sprite is also going to enact, because I guess one good guy is already finished off. We have got Nomi, Effect, and also Rude in the scene. Nobody's there in the water body, so that's good for them. But yeah, the player which was actually lurking in the water body is already back on the banks, back on the ridges, and from which he can actually shot down the player. That is REGNUM CARYA is one good player.
Team Major Pride, I think one of the players already fall down towards a melee weapon kill, which hit came in from REGNUM CRY and Rook after the position which REGNUM CRY is holding. Let's see how much value could he bring from this. MELISE, meantime, gets taken down from the side of team, like Oxygen. Oh no, it's going to be Team RUYA Esports who is going to be the one who will take him down. OZAROX Esports at the same time, they are towards a cornered position of the entire map. Slee Europa also puts some difficult position, and REGNUM CRY directly goes for the close-in. Oh, Team Major Pride are going to be in a very tough spot because they are swimming down in the bottom rivers. MELISE Esports meantime get eliminated at the 14th spot as the nade does the job, but as REGNUM CRY closes in towards Major Pride, oh no way, this is going to be a total chaos. This is going to be such a big chaos as Major Pride, all the three players might get themselves trapped inside these waters, and the best case option for them is just to give away the kills to these waters. Even if they get knocked out, they go down towards the bottom position, but the first player gets spotted. The contact does comes in, they're closing down. Team RUYA Esports meantime closes down towards the side of Team Slee Europe, and Slee Europa just getting taken down. Meantime, Team Major Pride, Nomia is going to be the one who falls down. It's only down to two players. Team REGNUM CRY are just hungry for more and more kills. I think they have got at least like what, 2 finishes yet, and with those 2 finishes they are just 4 more points away from getting a century. But now Team SLY is down to only 1 player, so 1 versus 3, switches back towards an M16 but falls down towards a melee, and that's a squad elimination. Slee Europe will get annihilated from the side of RUYA Esports, and that is gonna be a 3K win for them. But for esports, instantaneously coming as a third party, 2 players do fall down, but is that enough? It's a 3 versus 2 scenario, and Foot now comes in for the slam in. The slam in does comes in, but the knock goes in the favor of Cage. It comes down to the one final player, 1 versus 3, and I think Team Foot Esports might be good enough to get someone, but not good enough to take the entire squad down. It's gonna be Team RUYA Esports who will take down Foot. At the same time, Team MELISE will also be taken down.
Alright, the chase is coming in. 11 teams, 27 places, surviving. FLUX Esports is getting connected. Major Pride on the high side of it already secured 2 amazing eliminations. That's good, but they are stuck in the Water City region, and it's way too far away, to be honest. There's a distance of, I guess, somewhere around possibly 2 kilometers. So that's a huge distance that has to be traveled. Levuka is going to become the heart of this particular fight, and there are multiple teams which are once again trying to approach those preferred locations. But RUYA Esports, how they're going to perform is a big question, because obviously their bizarre angles are not that easy to actually cover up with. But MELISE Esports on the other corner, that's effect 2 has been taken down. A domination factor coming in from the team known as, I guess, REGNUM CARYA is also there. And also, along with that, elimination are also falling short, and that is NEXUS Gaming, who has been taken down. Yes, if I talk about REGNUM CARYA, after just 3 amazing finishes, they are struggling because no doubt Loxy was taken down, Zericon was taken down. So left with 2 players. And eventually the battle is also quite stressed. It's not like basically you are in the last cycle and after losing just 1 or 2 players, you can still survive. You have to rotate, you have to get some good angles. Same goes for RUYA Esports as well. Elvis finds 1, and that is a very good knockout on Kenzie.
I mean, let's see how these final, teams who have been competing up so closely in the very earliest point of the game are going to end up, because this is the final game, and just look after the numbers, only 10 teams are surviving. Oh my god, Storm, the moment he leaves his vehicle, that's where he leaves his entire control to his feet. He gets knocked down, and now it all comes down to 77. Kaiser is going to take the kill onto the side of Swan. Now Team RUYA Esports is totally going all in attack. They're winning each and every one of these individual duels. And with the final player getting spotted down, Elvis doesn't even want to heal himself up. The nade is so beautiful, and so is the final kill. Team RUYA Esports get 11 total defeats in the very early minutes of the game, and still there are 8 more teams surviving alongside them. OZAROX Esports will get eliminated at the 10th spot with 0 points once again. But REGNUM CRY, oh my god, the Prelude has really put themselves in a very tough spot. I think from the start of Major Pride, it's only 1 single player surviving. But the way the single player has really put Team REGNUM CRY in such a very difficult spot, they're down to 2 players. They cannot really afford to just move in and lose yet another player, because if they want to play in for the winner chicken dinner, they have to get these players advantage back. Meanwhile, Fluid will take down Sun HP with his DBS, so that's yet again a big issue. But Prelude, 2,200 meters away from the safest circle possible or nearest to him.
Yep, have to travel a long distance in order to have the advantage out of it. Rude, this is the guy with two amazing eliminations. I would love to see how Major Pride is actually going to come up with with a strong battle, to be honest, in this particular matchup. A lot of teams have already been taken down. We have MADBULLS, we have REGNUM CARYA also trying to fight back. 97 points is what I believe we are going to have if REGNUM CARYA gets eliminated at this exact moment. But MADBULLS finds another one. That was a good fight. Oh, Kitsune also gets taken down along with Matic as well. So, gaming gladiators. They were able to be in the top 5, but seems like that it won't be that easy because the last one standing on this particular team is already on the edge, and we can clearly see a lot of contestment is coming in. From the back end, it is going to be Team AR also trying to push forward, and MADBULLS, a very good domination from their particular perspectives. BESIKTAS has been on the edge, and the animation of Gaming Gladiators also comes in. I was not expecting that, but at the end, this is exactly what we are going to get.
Well, let's see how situations eventually come out. So slowly, steadily, as things have really went so farly against the team of, Team REGNUM CARYA, they're down to only 2 players. They do manage to get an entire squad elimination onto the start of Major Pride. But oh, it took down, it costed 2 of their own very own players. And now with only 2 players, they have to play the game here. But 21 players in the very third zone, which has just ranked in. And we have only down to 7 teams. Now I think this is the brightest chance for a team like RUYA to win it, because excuse me, surviving, they got totally away with the fight after FLUX. Meantime, if you talk about the start of REGNUM CARYA, they're so away from the safest circle. RUYA also has to come inside the circle, and we talk about the teams which are already into the safest spot. It's going to be none other than teams, excuse me. Slowly, steadily, the rotations have been called off, and let's see where the action goes on, because so far the teams know for a fact that with only these limited teams, that's not going to be much of a chaos, which you might really expect. But at the same time, let's see how situation goes on. MAD is also just right there, which is going to be MADBULLS. Team BESIKTAS, who has been having 11 total eliminations for them, are looking for some more fights, and Team RUYA, it's a little bit split, so that would really put them in a tough spot if they get initiated in case of any fight. But they take down Croce, which is going to be a big nod onto the start of BESIKTAS, and now they want to even confirm the kill. So RUYA might really walk away with one of the kill, but BESIKTAS will lose their numbers advantage.
Numbers advantage. It is actually going to play a very vital role when you talk about the chicken dinner coming in, but seems that CARYA is actually going to get picked off. He's not going to survive because he is actually in a very open-ended place, and yes, the animation could actually come in. RUYA is doing everything possible in their favor, and they're trying to actually get those finishes in their favor as well. At the same time, CARYA gets picked off. It's a 3v3 type of situation coming in, but RUYA is actually with the full 4-man power, but the domination factor is not going to be that easy. MADBULLS Frozen finds 1, a beautiful knockout indeed coming in. Tag has been taken down. Okay, has been finished off. So yes, the whole manpower situation that was there for this particular team is already out of equation. So RUYA all of a sudden gets backstabbed by another beautiful team. I would love to see how this whole situation gets traded off, because Salika is again going to get received a lot of tags. 6 amazing eliminations is there for MADBULLS, and now they're trying to hunt another set of 3 players. Okay, first one has been popped off. A beautiful spray coming from Zermi, I believe, and Zarish to be precise. So let's see how the last few players are going to perform, because they're already trying to fall back. They already know if they are going to fight back here. The buffer that was there, the lead that was able to maintain was is about to get snatched. But at the same time, Flaky has been taken down. That's interesting. Team RUYA is also trying to actually be aggressive, is trying to be a little bit more decisive. But the back tire has been burst out. Both the back tires have been burst out. So now this is an very tough fight, to be honest, and from this angle, to be honest, I don't think so that there is going to be a rotation type of thing. MADBULLS is trying to cook up a nade, and this could be the nade which is going to implicate some huge damage on RUYA, although it won't be that easy for sure. Tesla has been summoned once again, trying to rotate back to the circle. Remember guys, this is just the 4th circle, and we have seen the demise of 9 teams approximately, and we are left with just 17 and 17 players in a span of, I believe, 15 to 14 minutes.
Well, see how the end circle is going to look like. One elimination onto the start of RUYA, which pulls back the numbers advantage, which they did maintain. Meantime, Team Excuse Me is going to be taken down from the start of Team ARR. Now it's only 6 teams who will be competing up against each other. Meantime, RUYA finds one, but what Critch, who does not manage to slam his opponent down. Vehicle slump was indeed there, but I don't think it was like indeed like the speediest enough. You at least have to have like 45 to 60 kilometer per hour the speed to take your opponent player down. But nonetheless, that is going to be the case as next RUYA falls apart and we get the top 5 teams already. Team A are up with the numbers advantage alongside MADBULLS. Two players each for the start of REGNUM, CARYA, and none other than BESIKTAS Esports. But yeah, I mean, there's another team with that 3-man advantage. It's going to be none other than Team RUYA Esports. 13 kills for them. I think they have been looking really tremendous. GZ, meantime, he spots up Pubg, but Pubg is just gonna smoke off his entire vehicle. 3 smokes for him to get away with any of the vehicle. Meantime, GZ, is he good enough to connect any spray? The spray is not yet connected in. And meantime, if we talk about Enjoy, he gets taken down. That's going to be none other than Mad who gets the advantage, and MADBULLS are closing down towards Team Ballistics to take him away. He was trying to be the one who is eventually being the problem maker, but that indeed doesn't happen to be the case. He gets knocked down. Jesse is going to be the one who will just fall back. Just reunite with his fallen player named Enjoy, and is going to take him apart towards the center of the circle. Meanwhile, airdrop comes in, and that's going to be History getting the loot, getting some level 3 armor, and let's see which team is going to be the one who will come out to be victorious in this final game.
I mean, it is looking good, to be honest. See, this is the final match for the day, but still, the aggression that was in the lobby was uncanny. You can clearly see that in the 4th place circle, which is still trying to actually get finished off, we are still looking with just 5 teams and 13 players. That really shows that in the initial few moments, the teams were quite aggressive. Every single team wanted to be put more aggressive, and which is try to steal as many points as possible. But at the end, it won't be that comfortable. It won't be that easy. REGNUM, CARYA, 4 amazing finishers. They are looking very good. They have secured at least, I believe, somewhere around 7 points in this particular matchup. So I believe that is the team which is going to touch the 100-point marker for sure. Remember, guys, this is phase number 1, day number 2, match number 10 to be precise. One more day of this phase number 1 is going to be there, and after that, a short break of 1 good day is going to be there on 4th June, and from 5th June to 6th June and 7th June as well, we are going to witness the phase number 2, where again 15 matches are going to happen, 5 matches divided for each day particularly. So all of those things has to be marked in your calendar so that you can witness and not even miss even a single matchup. But still, if you are missing on some details, you can easily go ahead and follow the Instagram handle. That is the official Instagram handle of Ruthless Esports. Esports.ruthless is the page name. All the details are given in the description. Well, enough said. Still, the match is not moving forward because yes, small tags are there, but that is not enough to completely shut down a player or two. So yes, exactly. I'm waiting for those clashes to come in because now we are stepping in the 5th place zone. I really believe now the clashes will start. Braz Elvis has been taken down. Same goes for BESIKTAS Esports because Enjoy was able to take one down, and finally, oh what, a 1v2. A 1v2 coming from Enjoy's perspective. Remember, guys, he's the last man standing. Still, he survives and okay, was able to completely shut down the whole team. That's interesting. 6 amazing frags. That is so huge. But MADBULLS have got an idea. After that much of a ruckus, oh yeah, MADBULLS is going to completely shut him down. Not even going to give the opportunity for the guy to heal himself and eventually be back in the fight. But MADBULLS, with amazing 8 finishes, is looking forward to have a chicken dinner. But look at Bra, 13 frags for them as well.
Well, this is going to be a really interesting one if you ask me, because a 3 versus 3 versus 2 to keep things on, I think it's not going to be one of the easiest tasks, but let's see how things eventually pan out. But slowly, steadily, once again, the zones are going to be closing down, and so does the teams as they move in close towards the safest cover possible. Team MADBULLS are in the safest spot. Meanwhile, if you talk about the start of Team RUYA Esports, Elvish is going to just refuel his buggy, and there comes the slam. It's going to be MADBULLS who gets the first team to be knocked down. Only 2 players survive. It's a 3 versus 2 versus 2, and RUYA Esports are desperately looking in to secure this game. 14 kills already for the start of Team RUYA Esports, and it totally seems to be one of those classic matches moment for them, who are completely, just rotating freely, trying to get each and every kill possible for them, and Team REGNUM CARYA still managing to keep the hopes alive in case they could get the 3rd winner chicken dinner in the Ruthless Europe Invitationals.
See, the problem is that despite of the fact that we are not having a lot of players in this particular play zone, which is comparatively a big play zone when we talk about just the 3 teams serving in the lobby. I would love to see how MADBULLS is going to interact in that, because MADBULLS is again one of those teams which can change the pace of the game in their favor. But then the manpower. Well, it falls in the hands of Bra, and that is why Bra Esports is just trying to rotate and eventually confront every single team that is there. For Regnum Cura, you should not mess around with this particular team as well, because this is again one of those teams which can easily turn down a lot of anticipation, a lot of courage to be precise from a lot of team. Regnum Cura, four amazing finishes and five for the position points. I believe when you're going to get eliminated as a position. So 9 points all together is already in their hands. And yes, this is doing comfortable because they have got the coverage at this point. Pretty soon the zone marker will come, and after that I believe fights might actually come in. But before that, all we can do is integrate that particular team is going to go home with this chicken dinner in the match number 10 of the phase number 1 of this, which is Europe Invitational.
Well, the zone is going to close down. It's going to be the final zone which we are getting to see, and it's the map of Lipovka, where it all completely comes down to. And slowly, steadily, as the close down comes in, I believe the teams are closing near towards the start of Regnum CARYA. Regnum CARYA still choosing to take a bottom spot. The triple warehouse is going to be one of the places where they could position themselves. Meanwhile, I think this could potentially go in for a heal battle. Like, just imagine, there are 70% of the entire, like I'll say houses near the place. 10-15% of the water positions and only 10% left of the entire open fields, which is such a rare case. So teams are really going to comfort themselves in these open houses. They are going to put themselves up in the safest locations possible, and let's see how the entire play also comes inside. Meantime, if we talk about the start of team Regnum CARYA, we are towards the triple warehouse. In the center of the shops, it's going to be none other than MADBULLS, who are just above these glass house. And I believe MADBULLS are going to be the one who are not going to put any fight, like just the way I think we saw previously as well. They completely hold on the angles, they completely play for intel, and once they know that two teams are going to be fighting up against each other, that's where they are going to go in, and that's where they are going to push on their advantage to get some third party. But before that, I think Team RUYA Esports is going to be a difficult spot for them to hold their nerve on in the entire end zone fight, because this is surely going in till at least the 7 to 8 circle till we get to see any team winning the winner chicken dinner.
Oh, a tough battle indeed. I would love to see how the whole situation gets unfolded at this point, because yes, as you said, heat battle could be one of those solutions for these teams which are stuck in the problem of getting confronted by RUYA Esports. But RUYA Esports is one good member that is going to be still sitting on the back ends. I don't know what he's trying to come up with, but eventually he's trying to be the guy which has got the X factor, which has got the element of surprise, or should I say an off angle coming up on the other teams. Frozen and Kalika are actually in the center region, and in order to sandwich them, we have Regnum Cura, Tron, and one other guy which is still there in the ban houses. Okay, in the double house to be precise, that is Wild 77k. So everybody is in the circle. That's quite good. Now moving forward, I believe we'll get to see the 9th place one as well, because the way these guys are performing, they are trying to be a bit more sneaky. They're trying to be a bit more vigilant, because everybody knows one single chicken dinner can change the pace of the game. MADBULLS, if they secure the chicken dinner, it will be absolutely mesmerizing. If Regnum Cura secures the chicken dinner, again, it will be absolutely amazing as well. But RUYA Esports, they're trying to be aggressive. They're trying to actually go ahead and make their way, and this overcommitment might actually just cost them.
Well, surely, but at the same time, let's see how situations eventually pans out. Because slowly, steadily, as the zone now closes down, each and every team have their own respective, entire zone. Now with the numbers advantage, Team RUYA Esports are wanting to clear each and every angle cases just in the backlines to give an ADS in case anything goes wrong or any player comes out to be the one flanking the two players right in the center of Lipovka. But let's see how the situations are going to go on, because slowly, steadily, once again, Team MADBULLS, they have to make sure that they come out to be on top, and that's where Tulka is going to get spotted. Regnum CARYA with a good promising spray, but level 3 helmet and level 2 vest comes in for rescue, but not the nade. He couldn't dodge the nade. It's going to be Elvish's nade who will do the job, and he goes for another one. I think Tulka might just get eliminated at the spot, and I believe the start of Team MADBULLS have to only play with one single player. Now it comes down to a 3 versus 2 versus 1 scenario, and MADBULL only a slight option for them to make sure they will be able to retrieve back with the nade. The counter nade does comes in. Regnum CARYA choosing to close down, and the final player might really not be revealed up, but Frozen is the very right play if you want to get some clutch scenarios and look after the circle. The circle all the way goes towards the top position where Team RUYA Esports had a stronghold.
I mean, to be honest, Wild 77K is in trouble right now because look at them. The angles are not looking good, and yes, he has been taken down, so that's a sad side to watch for Regnum Curious meta. And again, some more tribbles are getting utilized, but eventually at the third position is MADBULLS who has been taken out. So 1v3 situation and Tron's position is already compromised. So I believe at this point that the chicken dinner for Bryce could actually come in, and this could be one of the hugest chicken dinner with 27 points. Yes, we did saw that Regnum Curia had, I believe, in match number 8 somewhere around 27 points, but in this particular matchup their team is going to have the chicken dinner which is known as Bry Sports, and they've got a beautiful memorizing chicken dinner, to be honest, a memorable one, to be honest. The way they were able to perform was absolutely amazing. The way they were able to aggress and shut down a lot of players was absolutely amazing. I was not at all expecting that Bry Sports is going to have a game like that after seeing them in the first day, but eventually this day, which I usually call as the day of comeback, was absolutely amazing for this particular team. Yes, a lot of teams made their way back in the game, but finally in the top 7 is going to be the situation for Regnum, for the team known as Bra Esports, to be precise. Regan Curia on the other corner is also going to have a massive jump because they were the team which was eliminated at the second position. So I really believe they are going to touch up somewhere around 105 plus points. But for Bra Esports, 2557 is the amount of damage, which is again a record in itself. And if we talk about the statistics, yes, 8 eliminations from Kazers, and that's huge.
I think Jesus was indeed playing the game of his life here. Krikali coming up with 6. 3 for Elvish and somewhat some good damage done from the side of Karar. But he indeed got eliminated at the very early spot. And I think with a total of what, like 17 elimination, right? He was finally coming up on top as the winner chicken dinner for the final game here at the day 2. Now one final day remain, 5 more maps remain, and Team Dry Esports already have given a statement here that they are here for the long game and they are not yet been given up. They covering a distance of 9,371 meter, 21 nades, 19 like smokes and only 2 mollies. Meanwhile, if we talk about the side of Mad Bulls, fair util, only smokes being utilized, and if we talk about the side of Team BJK, which is going to be none other than our very own team BESIKTAS Esports, they also had some good advantages in the mid phases unless they got taken down. REGNUM CARYA had to settle for less and not the best what they hoped for. But hey, at least now, finally, when we take a look after the overall scorecard, we might be really excited to see the triple digits in. But the MVP cases is going to be the one with 889 damage, 1 assist, and total of 8 eliminations. So that is something where you would definitely count him when it comes to the overall MVPs today.
Oh yeah, definitely. Guesses could be one of those players, but yeah, it demands consistency. So I really believe Bryce Sports could be one of those teams which finally can make their way to the top 3 pretty much tomorrow. But other than that, everything is looking good for this particular team. The way they were performing, the way they were conquering, and the way they're trying to trade up the fights is absolutely impressive as well. At the same time, I would love to see some more shifts coming in. Let's go with the match summary. Highest animation, highest damage, and also the highest knockouts is in the favor of Bryce versus Kezer. When it comes to the highest assists, that is in the favor of Elvis because he was able to give 5 assists for the team. And the highest healing done is there from Regnum Curia's Regitron, which is actually quite good. 439 points, to be honest, because he was damaged a lot, suffered a lot, but still at the end was able to, I guess, snatch out the second position for the team, which was kind of a good thing, to be honest, because this team wanted to maintain that buffer, and tomorrow that buffer is going to be huge. After seeing the overall shining, I believe we can have a clear idea of how huge that buffer is there. But yeah, match summary is over. Now moving forward to the next details that we are going to talk about is might be the match statistics. Oh, match rankings are going to come in first of all. 27 points of a game for Bryce was a huge one, a commendable job done indeed from the corner. Mad Bulls on the other corner was able to secure 14, and BESIKTAS with 11 points. Oh, I'm surprised to see that despite of getting eliminated at the for second position, Regning was REG. I mean, to be precise, is still stuck up with just 4 eliminations and a total of 10 points. That's all. North Korea on the other corner was able to get 8 points. If we talk about no excuse, they've got 6 points. AR with 6. Sly Europe with 3 points as well. Same goes for Major Sprite. If we talk about Firefly Esports, just 2 points. Same goes for FHG as well. SBC with just 1. MS, I mean, MELISE Sports, Nexus, OZAROX, and also Gaming. Gladiators went out way too early. Mass stats are here. The longest animation comes in from No Excuses. Quick, 555. 211 meters of a longest animation was there from his perspective. If we talk about airdrop being muted, that's 2, 9 headshots to be precise, total 25 knockouts, total 55 knockouts were there, 61 total eliminations, and eventually if we talk about the healing done, that is 57 51, 112 tables per use, and 12 rescues at the end.
Completely. I mean, this game was really, really one of the street to watch out for. But I mean, with that, let's take a look after what the entire standings is going to show up for. Because so far, I think the MVP overall is indeed going to be frozen after the day ends. It's going to be 17 eliminations for him. 3,966 total damage and 50 throwables. So within 2 days, I think Frozen, he has indeed showed us the very first 1 versus 4. After the day 1, the DBS clutch being one of the most memorable one, and that was in the very first match itself where we saw him clutching out, and that was Team Major Pride falling victim to that. But let's see how the story continues as now we move on to the overall rankings. I'd love to see how many numbers are we here talking about. Overall, in the MVP ranking, it's going to be Frozen at the top. Then we have Cherry Che at 13, Wild at 22, Loxy at 15, Tulka at 23. Then we have none other than FLUX at 10, Tron at 18, CORTR at 16, Kurali at 11, and 12 for the start of Victor from the start of HBG. So HBG, not the greatest day for them, but I mean, at least we are seeing 3 out of 4 players from the start of team REGNUM CARYA. Then we also have the side of none other than MADBULLS. All 4 players of MADBULLS are towards the top 6, which is just incredible. It just proves how dominant they are just within their own individual brilliances.
Yeah, I mean, the domination was absolutely amazing. We'll talk on that. But if we talk about Matulika again, 23 amazing finishes. That's huge. Damages of 3390, which is again quite a good thing. But if we talk about ARR, just like the way they are getting diminished in the leaderboard, that's exactly what is happening in the overall flaggers as well. Because indeed, ARR was good. And this particular guy, which was MNT Rix, was absolutely amazing in the previous day. But today, that kind of performance was not there from ARR's perspective. As a whole, that team was getting diminished multiple times. Yeah, these are the at the end overall flaggers, and we have got Metallica at the top. Second position is in the hands of Wild 77K, and also Tron is going to be the third one, along with Frozen, which is stuck at the fourth position with 17 eliminations. And that's all for the overall rankings, I believe. And now moving forward in the overall ranking, REGNUM CARYA. Wow, 104 points. That's huge, to be honest. I was expecting a big buffer, but no, that's not there, to be honest. So a buffer of 7 points is there, and MADBULLS can actually just come up with the exchange. But one thing I'm happy about is that REGNUM CARYA is not having even a single chicken dinner, but still being on top. That is the consistency. That is the domination that REGNUM CARYA is actually able to diminish. MELISE Esports on the other corner, 62 points. GAIMIN GLADIATORS 61. BRIZE was 59. Major Pride with 56. Remember, guys, Major Pride went up and was at the 6th and 5th position as well. And BRIZE was, look at them, plus 7 positions. They jumped from 14th to 7th position. That is huge, to be honest. And one more chicken dinner like that can actually make their way to the top 3. But on the hindsight, when it comes to the pushing down scenario, SBG from first page to the second page is here. That's sad, man. BESIKTAS with 53. Next to RUYA with 47. Excuse me with 39. OZAROX Esports 37. NEXUS Gaming with 34. FET Esports with 32. And Sly Europe 24 points. Well, a commendable job indeed. Just 3 points in this particular matchup in the last match for the day. I was expecting a lot from this particular team, but at the end, that's what we are going to get. So yeah, in the later stages, in the upcoming battle, in the next 5 matches, or should I say the last 5 matches, these teams have to step up.
Well, Team SBG, the team who are all the way towards the number 1 position till the yesterday's Miramar, and now it all goes down to the second page being at the number 1, but at the next page, I think that's just unfortunate. And I believe throughout the entire day, is it just me, or did SBG just manage to get 6 to 7 points for them the entire day? I mean, that is just unfortunate. What I'll say a trail of unfortunate series for them, but nonetheless, it isn't the end of the world. It's just the end of day 2. Day 3 is just going to be in tomorrow. So you guys who have been tuning till us so far, so long, not forget to check out Ruthless in the Instagram ID so that you get to know when we go live. Meanwhile, we'll be signing off as we will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening ahead, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at 6.
Void.